Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday morning. Happy, sunny, sparkling, and cold Monday. What? There's actually there's actually sun up there? I don't believe that. Today is our day off. Hope everyone's having a good Monday morning. I think we've got plenty to go through. Let me make sure we got everything going on over here. Howdy, howdy. I'm only looking younger because I shaved, that's it. That's it. Let's get ourselves situated over here. Yeah, works well. See, with a little bit of light, with proper light, a little bit of magic over here, shave, then that's it. You're good. That's how I get away with it. Folks, we also have a special announcement, I guess I should say. Coming up on the 20th. Coming up on the 20th, it will be a very special stream. We will have the Mechasphere on. We're just trying to figure out the last bit of logistic details. Make sure you join the Discord and keep up with any updates. I'm going to make a post today. And yeah, join us on Thursday, January 20th. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one, I promise. Alright, folks, we've got, luckily today's our day off, so we're gonna, try to get as much of this as possible. Lots of stuff happened within a couple of days, within the weekend, so lots to talk about. So let's get some of this started, yeah? meme story of the day. Ah.
Who, I mean, in my opinion, is very untalented, but she is shameless, so that gets her a lot of clicks and a lot of play.
This is what I want right here.
So, am I a conspiracy theorist or am I Nostradamus? The answer is neither. I'm just not on Big Pharma's payroll, and I refuse to peddle in their lies.
Ma'am, this
And
is
so to
Wendy's.
that end, today, I'm going to point out another truth, and it will likely be deemed a conspiracy theory until it's not. There
What?
are too
I would
many
also-
healthy individuals like
I would also like to point out that this is on Ben Shapiro's platform, completely, I guess, endorsed and I guess okayed by Ben Shapiro. You know, master of facts and logic.
Bob Saget, who we know have received their vaccinations, who are dropping dead suddenly and unexpectedly with no further explanation. Healthy athletes, young students in their physical prime, the majority of them males, dropping suddenly and unexpectedly in the middle of games from heart issues.
Suddenly and
What we know for a fact is that these people are being mandated to take the vaccine. And we know for a fact that these vaccines come with a warning that they bring about myocarditis. But the media is once again gaslighting the
That's also not it's literally listed as a potential side effect. It's not hidden.
First of
So
all,
does COVID.
yeah, COVID actually has a it's more likely that you are going to experience myocarditis if you contract COVID, and myocarditis is caused by other diseases or viruses like the flu.
Yeah, it's a common response to viral
Yes.
infection.
But continue, because apparently Bob Saget, she has intimate knowledge that he was mandated to take the vaccine.
Yeah, first of all, that's already incorrect. We actually don't know if Bob, first of all, Bob Saget, quote unquote, was mandated, and second of all, how do we know that that incident was directly correlated when we don't even know or have the complete results of any type of autopsy or anything like that? Do we? If anybody knows, let me know. But as far as I can tell, this came out a couple of days, or I think within a couple of days after he passed away.
So
Yeah, the young, healthy soccer player Bob Saget. I mean,
Right.
no offense to Bob Saget, but
I mean, he was in his 60s. Continue.
Yeah, no, what okay, so what Candace Owens is referring to here is what Candace Owens is referring to is that there was a soccer player who had a heart attack and passed away. They're two separate incidences. I don't think that they understood that, but either way. Crimson, thank you for the host and raid. I appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you guys don't know who we are a Difficult Truth. We do news and politics Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Join us for Saturday Catterdays about noon Eastern Time. If you hit that follow button, you'll get 5 free emotes. Pretty cool. Pretty awesome.
mandated to take the vaccine. And we know for a fact that these vaccines come with a warning that they bring about myocarditis. But the media is once again gaslighting the public, pretending that to even take notice of this very alarming trend is a conspiracy.
No, you're actually okay, so this actually happened live on the Joe Rogan podcast, where Joe Rogan was literally fact checked live. His producer, the infamously famous Jamie the producer, brought up the exact same studies and stuff that the guest was talking about. I forget the guy's name. That disproved this notion that there is more risk of myocarditis with the vaccine than there is of COVID. That's just a myth. and the guest who was on Joe Rogan's show brought up the studies, and Joe Rogan made his producer bring it up, literally read it on air, and tried to then deflect it by saying, well, you don't trust big pharma? Then, like, trying to say, like, basically these studies were useless, or tried to deflect. And then later on, Joe Rogan went on to admit that he looked dumb, but seems to be like a cycle that he does, right? He gets fact-checked live on air and fights with the guest. Well, he pushes back against a guest, against obvious, like, studies and stuff like that. And then later on, after the damage is done, because millions of people are watching this, then he says, oh, well, I was wrong, and stuff like that. Yeah. That's the problem with Joe Rogan. We have the fit, active sportsmen and footballers stricken down by undiagnosed conditions or taking drugs long before COVID ever came on the scene. Yeah, that's another possibility, Astro. Like, that's the thing. We don't know. Okay? We don't know. We don't have direct evidence to suggest that it had anything to do remotely with, like, the vaccine. Right? We need the autopsy, and we need to make sure that there's a definitive link between that guy's death and the vaccine, because that would be very serious. Candace Owens over here is just talking out of her ass.
The problem isn't that healthy men are dying. The problem is that you're noticing it. Where are the fact checkers? All of this to say that I don't know why a healthy man who is in the middle of a comedy tour suddenly and unexpectedly drops dead in his...
We don't know why. That's the thing, Candace. And you can't make assertions with information you do not have.
...his hotel room. But I do know that we have a right to ask the question. All of us do. In fact, when the entire world has suddenly and unexpectedly been prescribed an injection that we don't need, it is not only our right to ask questions, but also our right to demand answers.
Yes.
I will say it's actually not
suspicious.
Right. I would say it's actually not suspicious that someone would be found dead.
Wait, is that the end of the clip? Yeah, I think it is. And second of all, didn't they find, and this is probably speculation, didn't they find, like, drugs in his hotel or something like that? I'm gonna have to fact check that, because if not, then it's gonna be me talking out of my ass. Hold on. I need to check this out. The Jordan Peterson, I'm just asking questions. How's it going, James Snapper? Let me see. Bob Saget, cause of death. Okay. Okay, no, I was wrong. No foul play and drug use were ruled out. He could have been taking HE or... No. No drugs or any type of foul play. Per the sheriff and medical examiner. So I was wrong. Okay. I was wrong. But, just a quick Google search will tell you that, no cause of death was immediately announced. So, first of all, she's 100% talking out of her ass, like 100%. This is like gross negligence, and this is gross negligence and irresponsible from Candace Owens, but I don't think she understands what that means. I don't think she actually understands the meaning of those words. And irresponsibility by Ben Shapiro too. No cause of death has been immediately announced, so we don't know. We just don't know. However, the sheriff and medical examiner did rule out any type of foul play or drugs. So yeah, nothing to do with drugs, nothing to do with possible foul play or anything like that. We just don't know. So if we don't know, then we shouldn't make heavy claims. If we don't know, then we shouldn't be making any type of claims related to anything, unless we know for sure. And if we do end up making a mistake, then you correct it immediately, right? I had a fit, healthy 45-year-old friend who came home after golf and dropped dead of an aneurysm just years ago. Wow, sorry to hear that. Wow. Yeah, and that's completely random and could absolutely happen to anybody at any point. Healthy, unhealthy, like that kind of stuff just randomly happens. Jeez. Yeah, exactly, James Napper. That's a good point too. Weaponizing someone dying for the purpose of any ideological preference is just cringe behavior, let's be honest. Yeah, it's a charitable way of saying it. Why do we say foul? Hey, Tendera, why do we say foul play like it's a baseball game? Why don't we just say murder? Maybe. I don't know why they choose those specific words. I assume they, you know, it means something in the whole legalese terminology. I don't know. Maybe there's a purpose to it. Random thoughts, yeah, I get you. Alright. Speaking of misinformation, let's turn our attention to our good friend Rand Paul. Tina2 resubscribing for 5 months? What? 5 months? Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Tina. Welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Howdy, howdy. As crazy as MMR nonsense? Yeah, I mean, whew. Whew. Do we have, quite the personalities spreading some wild stuff. Speaking of misinformation, Mr. Rand Paul, good friend, Senator Rand Paul, said that misinformation could be a great tactic during a speech to a group of medical students. Yeah, misinformation can be a great tactic to a group of med students. Okie dokie. Hey, you know what? Why don't we just listen to him? Why do we even need to read this article? Just listen to him.
But I would sometimes spread misinformation. So, and this is a great tactic. Misinformation can be very important. So one time we were in the library and we were studying for a path test. And so we just started spreading the rumor that we knew what was on the test, and it was definitely all about liver. Everything, there's going to be a vast majority of questions all about liver. So we tried to trick all of our competing students into overstudying for the liver and not studying for the kidney and every other organ that's on there. But so that's my advice. Misinformation works. So try to trick your opponents into knowing that the test is about something it's not. But
Huh. That's very interesting. But, you know, they're just jokes, people. They're just jokes. They're just jokes. There are people out there grifting in the back of fake news. That's very true. That is very true. 100%. I think Ben Shapiro is definitely a main benefactor of that one, because I'm not sure he sold on that. I'm not sure he's like sold on the wild ideas that Candace Owens spews out. But hey, he kind of turns a blind eye when all the views come in. The problem I have with what's happening in the U.S. just now is that the focus constantly shifts from one thing to another and not the actual root issue. We had 4 years of people focusing a lot on, oh my god, why are people voting and supporting Trump, to now we have 2 years of, oh my god, why are people pushing back against pandemic precautions? When in reality, both things should be really, hey, this is a partisan thing. It's getting a bit out of hand, don't you think? I feel like it's focusing on symptoms rather than the cause. I think that there's some truth to that. I think that the idea of like we just kind of lost the plot here, is a bit of an issue. Is a bit of an issue. I think this that this Trump era has really made it so that like we live in some type of like post-truth era. This post-truth era, where Trump made it okay to be the way he is. I mean, I think America's very partisan, potentially more than ever, but your examples aren't great. Yeah, but I think what they're trying to bring up is the exacerbation to the point where it's actually not good. To the point where it's actually not good. We've always been like partisan in certain issues, but now it's to the point where it's just grinding to a halt, and people have just seemed to have lost the plot. There's like, what, 30% of the country who just doesn't live in reality? I don't know. How's it going, Zelle, by the way? Welcome. We have an unchanging poll of like, for example, GOP people believing that the election was stolen. I mean, these people are literally not living in reality. But the levels are increasing to an alarming rate, and there appears to be a lot of feedback. Yeah, something like that. Where it becomes detrimental, which is what I think you were trying to say, which I got that. Sorry, we had Brexit on the back of huge fake news. Do you think that is true of both sides? Not to the same degree. Not to the same degree. Not at all. Not at all. Like, both sides don't live in the real world to some extent. There's a difference between, like, sure, there is some examples where I think the left kind of loses it. It loses the plot, sure. But I don't think it's the same as people literally still believing that the election was stolen. People are literally believing the most egregious things. If I were to ask Democrats what the percentage of people that are hospitalized by COVID, what do you think the answer would be? Generally speaking, in broad generality, they would probably just look up whatever statistic there is that's being put by the CDC or whatever. Generally speaking. Nah, I don't think that everybody would, but generally speaking, it's their entire political art of deceiving people to do the wrong thing. The Dems said way too high of a number. The percentage of people, well, just look it up. That's not a hard thing to do, right? You can just go to the CDC. The point is that more people live in their own worlds. Yeah, like I said, I understand that there are things, there's a significant difference in you overestimating the percentage of people. There's an attempt to, like, I guess, false equivalency between people who think that there's a that there's an overestimation of people who are getting messed up by COVID, and then there's a 30% of the country who unironically doesn't believe the election was real. So you can't equate these two things whatsoever. I don't think you can equate the two because some of the important factors, both sides definitely embrace myth. They both peddle things that are untrue but convenient. But the Republican Party, we can no longer deny, appears to be hijacked by radical populism. This will anger some people, but there's a place in American politics for conservatism. There's absolutely is. But this populist, radical, fanatical Republican contingent is not conservative anymore. They're conspiratorial. True. You only have to look at the Trump's rally on Saturday to see how bad things can get. Yeah, like, I don't see any type of, like... there's just not the same level. What are your thoughts on the CDC 5-day quarantine? In my opinion, I think that it is a bit premature. I think that people don't read the full qualifications of the 5-day because it's not 5 days. There are caveats to that. You have to read the whole recommendations, and people don't. So you disagree with the CDC? I think that the CDC should have been more cautious in the sense because people don't read the full thing. They say, oh, it's only 5 days. It's not 5 days. It's 5 days if you don't show symptoms, if you test negative, if you keep wearing a mask for another 5 days. Like, there are different caveats to it. That's why I think that it's premature, because people don't read the rest of the asterisks attached to that 5 days. I actually think that people are just dumb and won't read it. They see 5 days and then they'll be out and about in 5 days when that's not 100% what it means. I'm saying the CDC should be overly cautious. That's not what I said. That's literally, you're putting words in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth. That's not what I said. No. What do you mean, what's the difference? Keep it at 10 because people obviously don't understand. They'll read 5 days and then they'll be out and about. Just leave it at 10. Yeah, there's also this what Dendera pointed out is very disturbing, that there was a whole bunch of airline CEOs that told the CDC to lower it, and then they did. So I don't know. Do you not see what you're doing by doing that? I have no idea what your point is. And they said it already doesn't matter if you're symptomatic, you could still be infectious. Yeah, yes, Tendera. Yes, if you're symptomatic, yes, you should not be out and about. I think that is part of the CDC guidelines. Wait, no, I disagree with that. I think that if you are symptomatic, the CDC guidelines are still the same. If you're out and about symptomatic, that's not good. There's different caveats to what you're supposed to be doing. So from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong. So from what I understand, it's 5 days, you're not showing any symptoms, you're showing negative, and then you gotta wear the mask for 5 days. And then you gotta wear the mask for the 5 days afterwards. Then previously said you could be still infectious if you're not symptomatic as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Then I misunderstood. If you're not symptomatic. Yes, that's true. Which is why they say you should probably test negative. Would you say that they're crazy and not listening to the CDC, but inherently they would be correct? If they're just citing the CDC, That's not the problem. But they're not. The Republicans are not. If they would just be citing the CDC, then that's what I would say. They're citing the CDC. You can be vaccinated and be infectious. It is very, very less likely that you are infectious. Yes. That's not what I said. You're putting words in my mouth. You're saying they should tell everybody to quarantine 10 days? Yeah. That's not the same as lying. I'm not sure what the point of that was. Real wheel. Not sure what the point of that comment was. CDC doesn't have all false info and are always untrustworthy. Sometimes they just make shit decisions. That's also true. That's also true. I think your logic falls apart there. You're not making any point. I never said that they should lie. So, what is your point? Anyways, TLDR, it's a nice meme when we have Republican Rand Paul just casually memeing about spreading misinformation, and how misinformation is actually a good thing and you should use it as a weapon. But you know, they were just jokes, just lighthearted memes. Political leaders have shifted hand wringing and just let people die. Well. Sorry, I'm playing a game, I'll explain. Nah, if you can't explain your point, then I don't see... Either make a point, or continue playing your game, I guess. As in, no one is safe? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Are you okay? So, the whole purpose of using vaccination as part of our multi-tool, multi-part prevention is that, first of all, if you have layers stacked like social distancing, mask, vaccination, all of this makes it, first of all, incredibly less likely that you'll catch it. And if it does happen that you catch it, it'll be very, very mild and you won't require any type of hospitalization and or, you won't die. So no, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. In case we missed it.
But I would sometimes spread misinformation. So, and this is a great tactic. Misinformation can be very important. So one time we were in the library and we were studying for a path test. And so we just started spreading the rumor that we knew what was on the test, and it was definitely all about liver. Everything, there's going to be a vast majority of questions all about liver. So we tried to trick all of our competing students into overstudying for the liver and not studying for the kidney and every other organ that's on there. But so that's my advice. Misinformation works. So try to trick your opponents into knowing that the test is about something it's not.
Nice meme. It's just a little lighthearted joke. kind of really does bring into the mentality of this person, right? If this is his idea of being funny, as a med student, a med student, and this is the type of attitude that he has, yeah, no wonder. No wonder. Hey, here's some cool news. The Oath Keepers leader and 10 others charged with seditious conspiracy related to U.S. Capitol attack. The Justice Department escalated its January 6 investigation by bringing seditious conspiracy charges to 11 defendants, including the leader of the Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes. The latest accusations were the charge that had not previously been brought in the department's Capitol attack prosecutions, remove any sense that prosecutors believed that the riot emerged from just a group of overzealous protesters, with new details about the planning and logistics alleged to have predated the Capitol breach. Yeah. The Justice Department until now has been careful not to push the idea of sedition, instead charging defendants affiliated with right-wing groups in conspiracy to obstruct the congressional proceeding. Instead charging defendants affiliated with right-wing groups with conspiracy to obstruct congressional proceedings on January 6th. The seditious conspiracy charges carry the same possible consequence as an obstruction charge, but it is rarely used, politically loaded, and has been difficult for the Justice Department to use successfully against defendants in the past. Sure. It should be like that. It shouldn't be a willy-nilly charge that you use, right? It's very specific and it carries a lot of weight when, despite the consequences being the same, which is kind of weird, you would think that sedition charges carry a little bit more consequences, but they carry about the same weight as obstruction charges. But it is true. It should not be easy. It should not be easy to charge people with sedition. So the fact that this is happening means that they have quite the bit of evidence to suggest that. General Merrick Garland has balked at the earlier efforts to bring the seditious conspiracy charge, but in the months since, people briefed on the matter say FBI investigators and DC federal prosecutors have spent much time building this case, at least in part with help of cooperators and the benefit of internal communications among the Oath Keepers. This new indictment brings to light the planning the Oath Keepers are accused to have done, allegedly, ahead of the Capitol attack, as they were allegedly recruiting members, stocked up weapons, and organized to disrupt Congress's decertification of the 2020 election. Wow. Yikes. Prosecutors say they continue to plot the opposed. Prosecutors say they also continue to plot the opposed by force the lawful transfer of presidential power after the Capitol riot failed to block the Electoral College vote. So they had plans afterwards. One Oath Keeper claimed to have traveled to Washington, D.C. for a scouting trip ahead of January 6. According to the indictment, the new court filings also detailed accusations that the defendants stashed weapons at a Virginia hotel and that they were prepared to rapidly transport fire teams and other weapons into Washington, D.C. to support the efforts to stop the presidential certification. Yikes. Yeah, so like the idea that they didn't have any type of plans and that there was just like no weapons is just not true. It's just not true. And this is the same, remember, this is the same thing that Republicans say is some type of, it's just a little tour, you know? Just a regular tour that happened to have, the Oath Keepers heavily preparing up to and including plans to rapidly transport fire teams with weapons. Yeah. The new indictment, approved by a grand jury on Wednesday, made public on Thursday, alleges that Rhodes and his co-conspirators engaged in a conspiracy to oppose the lawful transfer of presidential power by force by preventing, hindering, or delaying by force execution of laws governing the transfer of power. The latest court filings revealed that Oath Keeper Thomas Caldwell, who was arrested in January, claimed to take a reconnaissance trip to D.C. Before January 6th, the indictment also surfaced previously unknown communications. Rhodes is alleged to have sent, the prosecutors say, encouraged the use of force to oppose the lawful transfer of power. We aren't going to go We aren't going through this without civil war. Too late for that. Prepare your mind, body, and spirit. This is already in November. November 5th of 2020 in the Signal message. In December, Rhodes, according to the indictment, wrote of the Electoral College certification that there's no standard political or legal way out of this. Yeah, I wonder who could have given them that idea. I wonder who could have put them in that position to think that there's no way out of this. No standard political or legal way out of it. It's just right at the tip of my tongue. I wonder who continued to push the idea that this election was going to be rigged, that there's no recourse whatsoever. Man, I wonder who continued to push this narrative even before the election happened. Man, it's just at the tip of my tongue. I wonder who could have done this. I wonder who could have continued to push the idea that the election was rigged to the point where there's no other recourse, and it led to people who were already predispositioned to think this way to come to this conclusion. Damn, I just can't quite put my finger on it. Who could have done that? I don't know. Prosecutors have previously said that Rhodes used Signal during the attack to communicate with other members of the Oath Keepers who were at the Capitol. All I see Trump doing is complaining. I see no intent by him to do anything. So the Patriots are taking it into their own hands. They've had enough. He allegedly said on Signal at 1:38 p.m. that day, shortly after the siege had begun. So yeah, like the idea, like people thought that this was like a meme or a joke or like over exaggerated, that there's like these groups. I suspect that it's not just the Oath Keepers, but these groups were like in constant communication. They absolutely were, 100%, and that wasn't a joke. They were literally in communication and coordinating all of this. Additionally, the indictment said the Oath Keepers from 3 different states, including newly charged Edward Vallejo, stashed weapons in a Virginia hotel as a part of a quick reaction force. Quick reaction force teams were prepared to rapidly transport firearms and other weapons into Washington, D.C. in support of the operations aimed at using force to stop the lawful transfer of presidential power. On his way to D.C. on January 3rd, Rhodes allegedly bought an AR platform rifle and other firearm equipment, including sights, mounts, trigger slings, and other firearm attachments in Texas. The next day, he allegedly bought more firearms equipment in Mississippi, including sights, mounts, and optic plate, and a magazine, according to the filings. The Rhodes indictment walks through the public and private statements that Oath Keeper leader made just starting days after the election, that the prosecutors say illuminate the plot to oppose by force the transfer of presidential power. Those alleged discussions include a November readout that Caldwell reached out to provide Rhodes about a November 9th trip he had taken to DC to do recon for an upcoming op. Communications about the bloody fight and revolution were accompanied by logistical planning, prosecutors allege, with defendants discussing obtaining and bringing weapons to the Washington area. Rhodes allegedly spent thousands on firearms equipment en route to DC. On January 6, prosecutors alleged that Oath Keepers stationed themselves around the DC area, some near the Capitol, others providing security, and a third group waiting across the river in a Virginia hotel with a cache of weapons. At the Capitol, some members moved in a military stack formation into the Capitol where they fought with police, and a small group unsuccessfully looked for House Speaker Pelosi. Jesus Christ. Yikes. Yeah, and by the way, that's not over-exaggerated either. There's literally video of them doing this. The plot didn't end with the Capitol riot. Prosecutors say alleging Rhodes and other co-conspirators met in Virginia to celebrate the attack and discuss the next step. In a signal chat to other members of the Oathkeeper leadership, Rhodes allegedly said that patriots entering their own capital to send a message to the traitors is nothing compared to what's coming. In the week after the riot, Rhodes allegedly spent more than $17,500 on weapons, equipment, and ammunition. Huh. Where the heck does somebody get $17,500 that quickly? One member, according to the filing, said Rhodes should stay below the radar, while another brought what he called all available weapons to Rhodes' home in Texas. Around Inauguration Day, January 20th, Rhodes allegedly told associates to organize local militias to oppose the Biden administration. Another member alleged that after this, if nothing happened, it's war, Civil War 2.0. Yeah, this is exactly why I absolutely detest, and I get unbelievably omega triggered when I hear people talk about Civil War and all this other type of rhetoric. It's going to be turned into the new January 11th, 9/11. It's going to be used as an excuse for increase in security law. Yes, we've been over that, Mono. Absolutely. 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 We went over that, and I said, sorry, boss just got here. No problem. Actually, one of my previous streams where we were looking at the, security meeting, or what is it called? Committee hearings? The committee hearing about the January 6th stuff. The lady who was there, and I can't remember her name. Thandera wait, was it Thandera? Somebody told me to tune in to that C-SPAN hearing, and what it felt like to me is that she was trying to prime us, into the viewers, into accepting the fact that we're just going to need more increases in security, data collection, and things like that. Dude, what are you on about? Are you okay, Zelle? Are you okay? Are you okay? Republicans gonna say something like, oh, CDC is in with Pfizer? What? Feels a little disingenuous to say it's cool when you do it, but no, when other... I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you okay? I quit my uni courses, a waste of money? Oof. Yeah, they all want funding. Homeland Security 2.0. Hey, Dustin, that's right. You missed the entire discussion. Yeah, I guess I did. I guess I did, because it's not like I have access to all the chat. Civil War 2.0, where we all meet at the local Burger King and get arrested. True. I already have a master's degree, so it's not like I'm quitting and not getting one. Okay, well that's good. That's right, I remember now. Yes. It's just like 4K down in money. Oof, yikes. Yikes, you don't even get a partial refund for that? For dropping? That sucks. That's not fair. I thought, well, I don't know, it depends, I guess. Because here in the US, and I could be wrong because I haven't been to college in over 9,000 years, but I could be wrong. If you drop a class very early before the cutoff date, then you get your money back. If you don't and drop off your class afterwards, I think you only get like half back or something like that. I forget the rules, to be quite honest. Maybe I'm just wrong. And also, maybe it's just depending on the university too. Like, you've got a couple of days to drop it without penalties, and if you do it within like the week, then you only get certain back, and then after that you're screwed. After that, that's it. You're done. That's right. They all want funding. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, dude, but you don't need any other additional resources when I don't have it's just remarkable to me how you're asking for more additional resources when it was your mess up to begin with. Okay? That was the FBI's mess up, or whatever, whoever dropped the ball, or collectively, law enforcement, dropped the ball on that one. Whether it be failure of communication, failure of properly, forwarding the intelligence that was very obvious to everybody. Anybody who had any type of social media access would know that some stuff was going down January 6th. Anybody, literally anybody. So it's hard for me to imagine that law enforcement had no idea. It was just a massive either gross level of incompetence, or just simply they just negligence. They just let it happen. Either way, that is not an excuse for you to then go, please, we need more resources to, nah, you have a domestic terror unit, you failed, that's a you problem. We already have the technology and resources to stop these plots. Even the police do. They have used it on innocent civilians for years. Yeah, exactly. So, like, I'm saying, they already have the tools. They don't need more money. They don't need anything else. Just do your job. Jesus Christ. You don't have to... We don't have to, like, say that your mess up, your fuck up, then gives you an excuse to do more surveillance or more resources allocated for you. Nah. I don't agree with that. The charges make a dramatic change in the Justice Department of January 6th probe. Previously, some Biden administration officials believed using the sedition charge to politicize the Justice Department's prosecution of the Capitol attackers, and the department recoiled after the former top prosecutor of the investigation, Michael Sherwin, said on CBS 60 Minutes he believed seditious conspiracy could be charged. Yeah, could be. Well, now we have enough evidence to suggest that it is warranted. So, I don't know. That's not what I said. Wait. I didn't say the CDC shouldn't release any new findings. That is... You're just like making shit up. I never said... Chat, did I ever say the CDC should just not release any new findings? Like... Dude, are you okay? Like, is your back okay from, like, moving the goalpost? I'm, like, seriously worried. Do you have, like, insurance to cover physical therapy from moving the goalpost this hard? Like, I'm actually concerned. Dakapolion resubscribing for 5 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. You're joining Tina. You're joining Tina_2 for 5 months. Thank you, guys. First of all, you said that I was telling the CDC to lie, which I never said that. And then you're saying that the CDC shouldn't release any new findings. That's also not what I said. Okay, dude. You see, like, where you're falling apart over here? You okay, buddy? Garland said last week in a speech commemorating the Capitol attack. Okay. Said that the department was committed to holding all January 6 perpetrators at any level accountable under the law, whether they were present that day or were otherwise criminally responsible for the assault on our democracy. Rhodes had been of interest in the White House's... Rhodes has also been of interest to the House's January 6 investigation, which issued subpoenas in November for him and his organizations for deposition and documents related to the account of that day. In an interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper, Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland, who serves on the January 6 committee, said he hopes the new filed charges will shut up those colleagues who keep saying, well, if it's a conspiracy, how come there are no conspiracy charges? If it was seditious, how come there was no sedition charges? Well, listen, debate bro. If you want to come in here to act like some type of, like, 200 IQ, high resolution, like debate bro stuff, I'm gonna throw that back at you, and you better be right. Okay? It's just a question. Yeah, bro, we're just asking questions, dude. Not trying to get upset. You're being an absolute troll, dude. I would want them to be as responsible as possible. Okay? So there we go. We've got those with undoubtedly a lot more to come soon. That's a bit much. We don't know actually if there is going to be more sedition charges. So you can't speak in this manner. This is, I think, especially in the situation that we're in, I think we need to be a little bit better with our rhetoric here. Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin has no idea if any more sedition charges are going to come. We just don't know that. Okay? The reason why I'm reporting this is, well, not reporting, but like the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we do know that this is happening, and we do know why they're being charged with sedition charges, right? This seems appropriate. This seems appropriate. The fact that he has, to my knowledge, unless these representatives, unless this person knows that there's more coming, I think that we should wait. I think that means saying the CDC said 5 days because it's honest. No. You say 5 days, asterisk, if you don't feel symptoms, asterisk, you have to wear a mask for the rest of the 5 days, asterisk, you should be testing negative. Jesus Christ. It's not just 5 days. That's dishonest. CNN reported in July that Rhodes gave a voluntary interview to the FBI. An investigator seized his cell phone. He denies all wrongdoing. What? Bro, it's first of all, it's on video. We can see the very coordinated lines of the Oath Keepers, coordinated, just back to back with each other, moving in formation through the crowd. Yeah. This isn't like something that nobody has access to. According to the previous court filings submitted by the Justice Department in other cases, Rhodes said at a November 2020 online meeting, "We've got to defend the president, the duly elected president, and we call on him to do what needs to be done to save our country. Because if you guys, interesting, we have to do what needs to be done to save our country." Again, it's just right at the tip of my tongue as to why these people arrived at the conclusions that they arrived at. It's just right there. It's just right at the tip of my tongue. Man. Save our country. Because if you don't, guys, you're gonna be in a bloody civil war, and a bloody, you can call it insurrection, or you can call it a war or fight. Yeah, I wonder who could possibly be continuing to spread this type of rhetoric. I mean, like, I just can't think of why people would arrive at this conclusion. It's just like, it's just so baffling. It's just so baffling as to how 4 days ago, as to how people could arrive at the conclusion. It's just mind baffling as to how this continues to be a problem. It's just baffling as to how we could even arrive at this. Why? I just don't get it. Who could possibly be spreading the idea and continue to perpetuate this language of civil war? It's just right there. They love the founding fathers and the history of the nation. That's why I say, let's take the approach of the founding fathers, let's take the approach of George Washington and meet insurrection with the full might of the U.S. That's what he would have wanted. Yeah, didn't George Washington put down like 2 insurrections? Anyways, people takes all sorts of time to recover. We have a lot of detect infection tests, and it's been repurposed as a detect if you're infectious test, which is not what it's designed to do. Yeah, like, this is why, like, my point, he's proving my point by saying, well, actually, you should just say 5. No, it's not just 5 days, okay? Jesus Christ. There's asterisks attached to that. Hey, Kinetic Pause. The Whiskey Rebellion, right. Yeah, like, again, I just can't think of who continues to perpetuate this language. Huh. It's just very, very, very weird to me. You know, very, very weird to me. 4 days ago. Polls say U.S. supports insurrection over Democrats. 12 days ago. CIA warns of second civil war 3 weeks ago. I just can't think of... Man, it's just right at the tip of my tongue. That sounds like Jimmy Dore's channel. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's almost indistinguishable to the rhetoric. Alright, let's see if there's anything worth listening to here.
Baseball is America's pastime.
I just want to wish everybody a happy new year, and we're going to have, I think, a great year. Last year we had a rigged election, and the proof is all over the place. We have a lot of proof, and they know it's proof. They always talk about the big lie. They're the big lie. But the fake news and the mainstream media refused, and they refused to talk about it. They continue to refuse to talk about it. They say, while it is unsubstantiated and the big lie.
It is unsubstantiated. And second of all, again, literally 3 minutes into this, and he's already talking about how there was rigged elections, knowing the fact that before that, because the article from those Oath Keepers are, I think it was previous to his rally, knowing the fact that there's people who have who are completely okay with committing sedition in the name of Trump over a conspiracy theory. This is exactly what I'm talking about, Zelle. Hey, I hope you're still listening, because this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is undeniably way more dangerous, and out of just way out of the realm of. We're not in the same dimension. Was that the Undertaker at his rally? I don't know, but just to avoid any type of how do you say DMCA.
The big lie is a lot of bullshit. That's what it is. Because they're in the pocket of the radical left Democrats, the same people who are destroying our country, and they're destroying our country. And you have no doubt about it. We've had more problems, we've had more destruction, I think, than 5 presidents put together in the last year. On top of it all, people are being persecuted for using freedom of speech. You
Wrong.
talk about the corrupt election, but more and more information is coming out, and it's coming out far worse than.
Wrong. There's still unsubstantiated. There's no evidence to suggest that there is some type of massive voter or election fraud or whatever, because they conflate the two. But either way, there's no substantial evidence to suggest that there's any type of shenanigans in the 2020 election. This is now January of 2022. This is January of 2022. The election was November of 2020. Quit being a sore loser.
Anyone ever thought it could be. And it would be a lot easier for me to go out and enjoy my life and say, you know what? We did great. You know, I ran twice, and we won twice, and we did
You
better
did not.
the second time.
Nope.
We did much better the second time. You know that 12 million more votes. I always say we ran it twice, but we did a hell of a lot better the second time. This crowd is a massive symbol of what took place because the people are hungry for the truth. They want their country back. They want their country back. Between the open borders and the bad elections, and we were always thought of
There's no such thing as open borders.
a beautiful country that had fair elections, and now we're a laughing stock all over the world for many reasons. 2022, despite so far being a total catastrophe for our country, is going to be a big one for the people of this great state. I love this state. I love this state. Great state of Arizona. Remember, Joe Biden used to say a lot, it's wonderful to be in, let's see, where the hell are we? We're in Iowa. No, you're Idaho. No, it's Iowa, isn't it? No, we've never done that. We've never even come close. We don't want to do that. That's one of those deals. You do that, it's over. I don't care how well you speak. You do that, it's over. And they
What?
did it plenty. But we're going to
Oh, wait,
fire the
You
radical
do that, it's
Democrat
over? Hold
senator
on.
that do not-
Didn't he confuse his, like, father with his grandfather? Didn't he confuse his father with his grandfather? Didn't he also say the oranges of the investigation? I don't know, dude. Glass houses, my friend. Glass houses. Our borders aren't remotely open, true.
Nothing on borders, Mark Kelly, and we're going to elect an incredible person. Carrie Lake, I'll tell you, she is incredible.
Damn, he fell off. Nah, he still
with us from the
sounds
beginning on the
the
election fraud and
same.
everything else,
It's
and she's
just
gonna
so
be your
overplayed
next governor.
that, like, it's just so overplayed. I don't know. That's my opinion. He literally sounds just the same.
We're going to end Nancy Pelosi, Crazy Nancy's crooked political career once and for all. Where is Carrie? Where is Carrie? Carrie, come up here, Carrie. Come up. Let's go.
Where is he?
Come on up. Proud of her. Get out and vote. Make sure it's not a rigged vote, please. Come, please.
What?
Oh my gosh. Is this the greatest president we've ever known?
Wrong.
Arizona loves you. And I predict at the end of 2028, when you leave office, second term, the whole country's going to love you.
Yeah, Arizona went to Biden. I was expecting a bunch of memeable moments, but it was boring. He is a memeable moment by himself. But yeah, like, Arizona loves you. He lost. Yeah, that's what I thought. Cool.
They're going to figure it out. They're just afraid of him because he's bringing back the principles that this country was founded upon. And if our founding fathers were here today, they would be Trump Republicans.
Okay. Wait,
can
wait,
see right
wait.
now, Mr.
Oof, yikes. Yikes. Oh my god. That's true, Daka Palyang.
President George Washington crossing the Delaware with a Make America Great flag at the back of the boat.
Ah, yes. George Washington crossing the Delaware with a Make America Great flag. Way to be stuck in the past. True.
And Teddy Roosevelt would have his Make America Great cowboy hat. We love you. We're so thankful that you're
Actually, Teddy Roosevelt would not like somebody like Trump at all.
here in Arizona. And when I'm elected, we will finish your big, beautiful wall.
That's right.
Thank you, Carrie. Great. So what a job she's done as a politician. For 22 years, she was your anchor. She was your highest rated anchor, by the way, and people loved her, and she said she just couldn't stand watching it anymore. And
Oh,
thank you
another
very much, Carrie.
celebrity running for office.
So we
Nice.
all knew that Joe Biden would be not so good. But few could have imagined that he would be such a disaster for this country, what they've done. Inflation is the worst it's been in 40 years. Gas prices are up 50%. The grocery shelves, the department store shelves, they're empty. You had an excuse not to buy Christmas gifts. You say to your loved one, darling, I'm sorry, I love you very much, but I just can't. There's no merchandise in Tiffany. I wanted to buy the most beautiful ring, but they don't have any rings anymore. Nobody has anything.
Yeah, it's
Never even
coming.
heard the term supply chain. You know, if you talk supply chain, it's not something that we even talked about, and that's what happened. And it's a very sad
Yeah,
thing.
the check is
streets
coming.
of the Democrat-run cities are drenched in blood with record-high murders and drug
That's right,
deals and
James.
human trafficking. There are 4 times more COVID cases. Remember, I'm going to get rid of COVID. I'm going to get rid of COVID.
Oh my god.
4 times more cases than ever before.
love the Black for
Today,
Trump
the hospital
shirt
set a
say
record, brand new
2020.
record. Our beautiful, strong southern border from 1 year ago was all set. It was all finished. It was beautiful.
On
We have the
Saturday,
best
they
numbers
arrested
we've
and
ever
handcuffed the
had
Democratic
at the
supporter
southern
for
border,
carrying an
and that
anti-Trump
includes drugs
placard and
coming
merch.
into our country. We cut it down to a
What?
number that nobody thought was
Yikes.
possible. And now it's up 7 times more than it was a year ago. Think of it, 7 times more. Our border's been abolished and illegal aliens are pouring into our country by the
Pouring in,
millions and
folks.
millions and millions, and we don't even know where the hell they're coming from. We know nothing about it, but you're going to pay a big price.
Pouring.
Biden has utterly humiliated our nation.
And we have no idea where they're coming from. It's just complete, utter anarchy. On Saturday, yikes, Astro.
On the world stage, Putin is not only threatening Ukraine. I don't know if you've been reading about this, but now he's threatening to go into Cuba and Venezuela. That's a lack of respect, and we never had that problem, did we? There was no problem with Putin and Ukraine. There was no problem with...
Wait, I thought you didn't care about, like, communist countries or whatever. Wouldn't that be, like, your wet dream or something?
President Xi in Taiwan. China, Russia, and Iran are engaging in aggression and provocations they never would have dared do just 1 year ago. They would never have done any of this. They're toying with us. They're toying with us. That's exactly what's happening.
Oh,
And
they've
our
been-
woke military leaders. These are not people that are respected by
Those are the same leaders that were under you, buddy. Just so you know.
Russia and China,
China.
and North Korea, Kim Jong-un. He's starting to shoot missiles again. Do you notice? He's starting to shoot the missiles. And look at
They
all the
never
presidents
stopped.
there. And by the way, more importantly, forget them. Look at the people. As far as the eye can see. Look at the people. As far as the eye, forget the cars. Look at
Jesus,
the people way
Tandera.
back, and I mean like football fields back. And you know what? I would ask the press to turn your cameras around and show the kind of crowd that we have.
Wait, this. Oh, I always bring it up. Every time I like see one of these stupid rallies. Remember, this is also the fake news press, right? But yet he feeds and lives off them and allows them to film and broadcast his unhinged rants. But also, press is bad, enemy of the people, and whatnot. Yikes, Astro.
Because nobody's ever had a movement like this. Nobody's ever had spirit like this or a crowd like this.
Really? Nobody. Nobody? Nobody? Oh man, just nobody. Nobody. Huh. Interesting. Nobody. Damn. Nobody. Interesting.
But see, they don't turn the cameras. They don't want to turn the cameras. They don't want to turn the cameras. And frankly, they moved the cameras into a bad location for us. They should have been put way back. They have magnifying lenses. They have lenses that could have had.
Yes, that's how cameras work. Good, Donnie. So what do they want? What does he want them to do? To just like not film him? Okay. He was literally president for 4 years. Russia occupied the Crimea and didn't do shit about it. True. His narcissism doesn't allow to see him truth. Yeah, that doesn't allow him to see truth. Trump's speech was so boring and irrelevant. His backing crew had to replace so they not keep up the false adoration.
But take a look behind you.
Yeah,
there's
been clips of like him starting to do his like usual spiel. Like it's honestly old at this point. It's honestly old at this point, but like people, I think mostly, are just slowly getting bored of it. Save for that like special 25 to 30%.
When they show the kind of numbers that are represented tonight, some of the government people said it's the single biggest crowd they've seen yet. And they're not just talking about Arizona. And Right Side has done a great job. Thank you, Right Side, wherever the hell you are. They've done a very good job. No, but when you think, I mean, it's so sad because I say, do me a favor, do us all a favor, show people what's really happening, turn your cameras around, and you could look 100 yards behind the cameras, and it's a sea of people. In fact, the press is blocking the people out, and that's a shame. What a waste. What a waste.
How do you expect them to film
now
you?
We have So now we have the inflation crisis. We had no inflation, very, very low. We have the Afghanistan crisis, the worst and most embarrassing moment in the history of the United States. The most embarrassing moment. We have the economy crisis. We have and this is really the woke military leadership crisis. When President Xi of China looks and sees what happened in Afghanistan, they don't have fear of us anymore. They don't have respect for us anymore. And you know what? They've taken some of the brand new beautiful equipment that was given like when we surrendered over there. That was a surrender. And there's another one the press never talks about. Do you hear them ever talking about what happened? Not only the 13 soldiers, but the 28 great soldiers that were absolutely so badly wounded with legs and arms, and 250 people, and $85 billion worth of equipment. $85 billion. Does anybody know what
That's not true.
that represents? I've rebuilt the entire military. $85 billion
That's also
worth
not
of
true.
equipment was handed over to the Taliban. And we had a deal with the Taliban. 18 months, we didn't lose one soldier. I spoke to Abdul. Abdul was the leader. I said, Abdul, you do anything with respect to you kill anybody. We didn't lose one soldier. Think of it. Not one
Did these
soldier
people
in
take
18
time
months.
off work to
And
go to
then-
his rally to be used as props for his speech? Yeah, probably. Probably.
And we have this fake election, this horrible, disgraceful election.
It's
And by the
not
way,
fake.
A person that comes here, and we're all together, a person that comes here and has crowds that go further than any eye can see. There's nobody that can see the end of this crowd. And has cars that stretch out for 25 miles. That's not somebody that lost an election. And now because of it, our country is being destroyed.
What?
Country's being
Okay,
destroyed.
so like think about that language, right?
Thank you.
Think about that language. There's just no possible way that a person with such large crowds that could stretch out to miles and whatever he said could lose an election and and our country is destroyed because of it. Yeah. That's stochastic terrorism 101.
Thank you. Thank you, Uncle Sam. There's Uncle Sam, everybody. Uncle Sam, thank you. Now our country's being totally destroyed. There's been such destruction. It's not even believable. You know, you see it every day, practically every day. It's all
It's
promises,
not
it's
even
all
believable.
things that they
You're
never
right
had
about that. Hey, that's the first true statement he said in this entire 16 minutes.
so bad, and that's causing a big part of the inflation. The mandates are a disaster for this country. It's causing another big part of, when you look at what's happening with the economy, the mandates are just absolutely decimating our economy. And we did a good thing. We have
Oh, really?
almost 300 federal judges on the bench now during my administration.
I wonder if he can point to the specific mandates that were done that made such damage to our country. I wish he could point to like a specific example.
And 3 Supreme Court justices, and they're very good people, and they've been doing a good job, and they have some they did a good decision, a big decision on mandates, but I'll tell you what, they have some big decisions coming up, so we're lucky to have them on the bench. It's no wonder that the Joe Biden approval ratings have now crashed well into the 20s. That's a low one. And some people say they're actually much below that. How do you do that? The only one lower is Kamala. Kamala's lower. And the polls show that if an election were held today, we would trounce them so badly in a landslide in every way, just as we really did on November 3rd. We trounced them. We trounced them. If we had an honest press, that election would have been much different. On top of all of that, 2 days ago, the Supreme Court rightly declared that Joe Biden's very sinister and malicious, and I don't know what they're doing. They're hurting us so badly, but getting out, well, they might be evil. Yeah, they might be. They're either evil or they're incompetent. But they declared
that one that got shot down. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Jordan Wag. Jordan, how's it going?
I will say this: the court system and the court decisions that are being made and will be made, it's going to be an incredible victory, in my opinion, for common sense. It's a victory for American freedom. We have to have this victory. If we don't have this victory, we don't have the right decisions. But we have great, great people. You know, we talk about the 3 justices, but when you get almost 300 judges, federal judges, it's I think you're seeing things a lot differently right now, a lot differently. What Biden did and the radical Democrats are doing with their courts, if you take a look at what they've done with the COVID, I call it the China virus. Is that okay if I call it the China virus?
Oh my God, here we go.
It's a tyrannical agenda. It's a criminal agenda, what they're doing. They're handling it so badly. And you know, the H1N1, remember Joe used to call it the N1H1. I said, no. But the H1N1 was handled very, very badly. Smaller scale, much smaller scale. Not the same kind of problem. And you know what he's done? I told Fauci as an example, no, I'm going to close it up to China. No, because he wanted it. If you remember, he said no mask, then he became a radical masker. But Fauci fought like hell to not close it to China and then admitted.
If we had an honest and fair election, I still no doubt that Bernie would have won. Yeah, but the problem is, like, so I think, like, people, I get that, you know, obviously there was incredible frustrations within the primaries, but we have to also remember that, like, the primaries aren't the same as our, like, actual election systems, right? Those are ran differently, and unfortunately primaries are run through the Democratic Party, and they are considered private separate entities, the RNC and the DNC. Technically, if they really wanted to, if either one decided they weren't going to have primaries, then that would be technically completely legal. That has to change, obviously. I just want to, like, make sure that people separate that. Bernie would have gotten cock-blocked by the majority of Dems. That's true. That seems to be that seems to be playing out even now. Even somewhat anything remotely kind of looking like any type of progressive legislation or anything to do with climate change or anything to do with healthcare, anything to do with expanding Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, all of that's being attempted, or was attempted for a moment there, and was immediately blocked. Sanders can't even win a primary, let alone a presidential election. As much as that stings, it's reality. There's no point in the left building a fantasy, as it doesn't help them achieve anything apart from soothe their ego. Yeah, I don't know. But he had large crowd sizes, James. Didn't you see? But he had large crowd sizes.
That we saved tens of thousands of lives because I closed it in January very early. Then we closed it to Europe. But the problem is, I didn't listen to him. But Biden's made him the big person. He's like the king. Fauci's the king.
That's not true. Fauci's one person.
But with these decisions they're making, they're wrecking and devastating people's lives, firing Americans from their jobs, forcing innocent children to grow up in masks, closing their schools, destroying education, crushing their development, demolishing their futures, locking people into their homes, what they've done over the last year, wreaking havoc on our economy, going mandate crazy and running
What? Locking people in? What?
neighborhoods. If you look at what's going on, they're just running roughshod all over this country. And they're truly hurting the American people. Like I don't think they've taken away their liberties. What they're doing is incredible. They've taken away their dignity. They've taken away their liberties. And I say enough is enough, and we are not going to take it anymore.
Guys, we have no liberties. That's it. It's done. What was the crowd size? For this particular event, it seemed to have been substantial. And this is someone who admired and still admires what Sanders stand for. True. Out of like any politician, I think Bernie Sanders still has like I think, in my opinion, a good platform. His fear-mongering is on another level. No wonder they stormed the Capitol. Yeah, it's called stochastic terrorism, Dendera. Trump lives in leftist rent free. Dude has been out of office for a year and you're still watching him. All you can say is what? Anytime he brings up valid points, it's truly comical. Wait, you do realize that I've been pushing back against the absolute nonsensical claims that he's been doing. The only reason we are still watching him is because he's still a problem. That's the only reason he's even being brought up. It would be wonderful if he would just fuck off.
Because our country is going to hell. It's a disaster, and it all happened in such a short period of time. You know, they want to knock out the filibuster and get things approved, and it's hanging by a thread. It's hanging by a thread. This is the moment the American people must take their lives and future back. We have to do it. We have to be strong. We have to be strong. It's time for the radical Democrats to leave our families alone, leave our elderly alone, leave our children alone with their strong immune system. Leave those beautiful children.
Leave our children alone.
They have a good one. You know, Barron had COVID, and by the time
notice how he never like gives you any examples or specific policies or anything like that. He just says these vague generalities to rile people up. Everyone that has died had an immune system, true. I'd like to see some receipts for those lost liberties. Yeah, sorry. Fake news, I died and I don't have an immune system. Oh no. Are you texting us from the other world? How's it going, Mono? Can you so many of them came out of town? Oh, you're undead. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Time we checked them, the second time it was gone. It's going to have a strong system, and to be doing what we're doing with the kids. Leave our businesses alone. Leave all of us the hell alone. Tell Joe Biden the Americans' health choices are none of his business. We can make our own choices. And it hasn't worked. You know, you take a look at New York, what a disaster that's been. You take a look at other states, what a disaster. California's been a total catastrophe. And they were locked down. They were locked down as close as you could be. By the way, how did Cuomo do as governor? Really wonderful job, right? What a wonderful job he did. That guy, I'd watch him every day on television. I say, he's saying the wrong stuff. But it's a shame what happened to some of our great places. But I'm proud that I was the anti-mandate president, and we have great successes in Texas and Florida. And
you weren't the president,
almost all
though.
Republican states. Throughout the pandemic, I fiercely resisted mandates of any kind.
Oh, I see what he's talking about now.
We have to. They've proven ineffective. So if you really believed in them at the beginning, and I guess we can understand that, but it didn't take long that you would say, no, we're not doing it anymore. My administration invested heavily in all of the above strategies, including therapeutics. You know, we have therapeutics that are so powerful and so good. Some people could call them cures. The fake news will go crazy when you say that.
They're not cures. They're not cures. They're treatments. Completely different thing. And furthermore, because of our gross incompetence, yes, including Biden's, we've now put ourselves in a position where even those therapeutics that he's talking about, the monoclonal antibodies, are not as effective. They're not working. All you have to do is undermine the crowds at his rally. Now I asked him why they support a president who got both the vaccine and also said it was a good thing. Oh yeah. This is my favorite line.
I recommend take the vaccine.
My favorite line.
I did it. It's good. Take the vaccine.
This is my favorite line. Hold on. We've got to bring up this point here.
Yet when it comes to January 6th defendants, most of them
Oh God.
the anti-mandate president, and we have great successes in Texas.
Oh wow, that was complete accident. There's still a chance Donnie gets COVID again. That's true. Do you think this guy got his booster? Probably. He's probably. Let's see. Monoclonal antibodies. These are the two, this is what I saw. Well, it's one of them that I saw. Oh, I see. Big Pharma is more powerful than any president or politician. Okay, and? I don't understand the point that's being brought up here. I am protected, the greatest immune system, bigly strong. Doctors are amazed. Nobody has an immune system like I do. The federal government has resumed shipping on all three shipping all 3 monoclonal antibodies authorized for early stage COVID treatment, despite evidence that 2 might be ineffective against the Omicron variant. Yeah. Yeah, nice meme.
Florida and frankly in Republican, almost all Republican states throughout the pandemic, I fiercely resisted mandates of any kind and always will. We have to. They've proven ineffective. So if you really believed in them at the beginning, and I guess we can understand that, but it didn't take long that you would say, no, we're not doing it anymore. My administration invested heavily in all of the above strategies, including therapeutics. You know, we have therapeutics that are so powerful and so good. Some people could call them cures.
They're not
fake news
cures.
will go crazy when you say that. They don't like hearing that, but
They're not cures.
They are fantastic. The antibodies and antibody testing, and the testing is such a disaster. Remember they'd say, where's the test? We did an incredible job in testing, and we were really there as in an infancy. Nobody knew anything about it. We figured it out. There's no testing. There's no anything. You can't get anything, and the testing has been a disaster. They said, now, can you imagine if you own a testing company and you go up, they said, no.
What? Do you mean the logistics of the testing? Because there might be an argument for that. Oh, come on.
And it's by far the most transmissible, and thankfully it's also the least dangerous and the least deadly. And we have to get back our lives. We have to bring our country back. We have to bring our lives back. But instead of letting us resume, and that's what we want to do, our normal lives, Biden's trying to bully and intimidate people with his ridiculous. See how angry he gets? You see? Anger!
Anger!
You gotta listen to me! Listen, where am I? Where am I? Oh, where the hell am I?
I wonder if the overuse treatments could become resistant to it. I don't know.
It's a disgrace. What? Oh, veteran. Hello, veteran. Look at that. He's a handsome-looking veteran. We love our veterans, don't we? Wow. We love our veterans. That's very good. Well, we're going to be introducing some of them. Thank you. Good-looking veteran you are. Boy, oh boy, I thought somebody was like in trouble or something. That's great. Thank you very much. But Biden's trying to bully and intimidate people with his ridiculous, unscientific mandates because he and his entire administration have absolutely no idea what the hell is happening. And Big Pharma is making a fortune. Democrats are putting corporate profits over the rights of the American people. These corrupt, power-hungry lunatics need to hear us loud and clear. We are done having our lives controlled by politicians and Washington bureaucrats.
I wish he could point to something.
The mandates, including the mandates for frontline healthcare workers, which I think you're going to do that also. And I know Carrie's going to be involved. Oh, what an improvement. What an improvement she's going to be over your current governor. He's a disaster. Somebody said, oh, he wants to run for the Senate. They came to me. They came to me in Washington. They said, what do you think? I said, he's never going to get my endorsement. I can tell you that. Your governor is not good. Now, Carrie's the one. She's going to be fantastic. Not going to be too long. Time flies. All of a sudden, Carrie, not going to be too long. But Ducey has been
Do you think we're in a pandemic or a marketing campaign? Are you okay, bro? Hold on, I have to ask. Are you okay? Wait. Are you okay? Seven-day average of 58,000 cases in Florida alone. Are you okay? Are you okay? How are they finding these cases? Gee, I don't know, genius. By testing? I feel like Posada says +1. 1+ because they're taking into account they might be banned in a channel without Posada bot. Oh, I see. That's right. Pharma companies are trying to rinse society of cash. That doesn't mean it ain't real. True. The tests that won't work, nobody said they don't work. Literally nobody said they don't work. But there is an argument for what you're saying, Manu. Just because pharma companies are indeed scummy and have been, doesn't make this any less real. I think you're conflating, or I don't know, maybe Chill Collective is living in an alternate reality that we can't see. But there is no reason to believe that Big Pharma hasn't done some sketchy stuff in the past. But that doesn't mean this isn't true. It doesn't mean it isn't true. It doesn't mean that the pandemic isn't true. PCR, lateral flow, which one is more reliable in your opinion? You'd have to look at the data. From what I understand, and I could be wrong, from what I understand, I think PCR tests are probably a good probably the most reliable, I think, right? I had to have to look it up. PCR, but they aren't testing... But they aren't testing the exact same thing. Okay. Which test... Oh, well. Which COVID test is more accurate? You can just Google it. PCR tests are considered to be the most accurate available from Yale. Yale Medicine. So there's an answer. Believe the PCR test is a what? Better option. Molecular test. Using nasal swab is usually the best option because it will have fewer false negatives from Harvard. Stop it. Oh, PCR test. Yep. So it seems to me, based on just a quick 5 seconds to see, it is... PCR tests seem to be pretty okay. PCR no longer more thorough. You don't use PCR if you're already symptomatic for the most part, at least initially, which is why in the UK, I don't know elsewhere, but people were told to skip straight to PCR if they were showing potential symptoms. Our PCR and lateral flow tests made by Big Pharma, true, so we can't trust those, I guess. Absolute clown logic. Absolute clown logic. Anyways, it seems to me like more or less from what the evidence is suggesting is PCR tests. Rapid tests are unreliable, especially if it's more accessible. Well, the thing is, like, you can get false negatives with the rapid antigen test. So it's better if you really do feel like you might have COVID, and especially if you're feeling symptoms, the antigen test is pretty okay, and you can follow it up with a PCR test. They're free. They're free. They're free.
Men are women, women are men, and the babies, this is a fact, the babies can be killed even after birth, right? After birth.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that. Literally nobody said that a baby can be killed after birth.
Term. Now they're talking about, just go check out your governor of Virginia, your former governor of Virginia, and it's all just fine with them. Babies can be killed after birth. The radical Democrats want to turn the United States into a communist country. If you remember...
Yes, the radical, very, very communist Democratic Party is trying to turn the US into a communist country. Can you explain which policies that the Democratic Party is deploying akin to communism? Can you explain to me one policy? Just give me an example of how the Democratic Party is trying to turn this country into a communist country, right? The answer is he's not going to give you one because he's lying. He's just riling people up because if you say communism, they all get scared. That's how these people function. It's all fear-based. It's actually kind of sad and pathetic, but explain to me what policies he's using, or what policies the Democratic Party are using. Explain to me. I think actual positive tests are not all reported. Loads of people won't go to get the test if they're mildly unwell. No, I don't know. I think that, I don't think so. I think that people... The thing that would make me believe that there's underreporting would be the people taking tests at home, because those don't get reported. But if you go to a place, it's completely free. If you go to a senator and get your test, it's completely free. So, yeah. And if you feel mildly unwell, or if you feel like you have symptoms, then you should get a test and stay isolated. I don't know how sick pay works there. Oh, mono. Oh, mono. Sick pay. Real quick chat. If you live in America, how many sick days do you have? quick, without using paid time off, which is vacation time, how many sick days do you have? It's amazing how many lies he can fit in a few seconds. It's been a while since I heard him talk. Yeah. Zero. That's right. Exactly, which then goes to your point, Mono, which people will have to go to work sick. Not because they want to, not because they feel like they're, not because they want to get people sick, not because of anything other than, I've got bills to pay, there's no sick leave, nothing, so guess what? Good luck, everybody. Zero. Thank you. I know someone who would not take the test and continue working to get the wages. That's my point, and I believe that's what Mono was saying too. That's Mono's point. Look at that. Thank you, Nyla. That's zero.
Remember during the
That's
campaign
right.
I said it was something
Because we don't have paid sick leave as a standard. Some companies may offer it. Some companies may have a situation where you can call out sick, but it's using your PTO time. It's using your paid time off time, which is vacation time. I took 10 unpaid days work off to recover from COVID. Wow. At least they gave you that, but it's unpaid, so that's kind of effed. That's not right.
that was going to happen if they get elected, which they didn't, but that's okay. By the way, we did have tremendous success. You ever hear some of the little things where they analyze elections? If you win Ohio and Florida, you always win. We won Ohio.
That's not true. That's not how elections work. I'm seriously sinking, trying to catch up on my bills. That's Mono's point, I think. I have colleagues in the US who get sick pay, but it's a British company who has office. Yeah, well, there you go. Then why did you... Yeah, there you go.
Ohio and Florida. But if you win Ohio and Florida and Iowa, and we won big, all of them, then 100%. If you win a certain number of states...
That's not true. That's unironically not how that works.
having to do with
I think he doesn't know how to count.
legislatures and state, we won all of them. Every one of them. There's like 15 of them, different little tests, and we won them all. The only thing we didn't win was the election, you know? But I'll tell you what, if you look at 10 o'clock in the evening on election night, you look at Pennsylvania, you look at all of these different states, and we won those elections, we won them big. And and you know what it is? We can't let them get away with it. We just can't. We can't let them get away with it. And I think it's one of the reasons that Carrie, because I watched her in the stump the other day, and I think it's one of the reasons she's doing so well. But I said if they get elected, our country would become a large-scale version of Venezuela, remember? And
wow, large-scale version of Venezuela. Damn. Again, explain to me which policies have been enacted to even move in this direction. I've never seen a single policy pushing towards communism. There you go.
I didn't really, I said it and I meant it a little bit. Guess what? It's true. We're becoming a large-scale version of Venezuela, which was a very successful country 20 years ago, and now they have no food, they have no water, everybody's dying. It's being run by a horrible group of killers, and we have a horrible group. People ask me often, President, could I ask you a question? What was the toughest country? And they're so interested. We've made people very interested in politics, right? Very, very interested. What was the toughest country to deal with? Was it Russia? Sir, could it be China or perhaps North Korea? Was it Iran? I said, no, the toughest country to deal with was the United States of America. We have some crazy people where they create the Russia hoax and all created all fabricated. And actually, the toughest country to deal with is not China or Russia or any of the United States. It's a disgrace. And you notice we don't talk about greatness anymore. We talk about the environment. We talk about COVID, the China virus.
What? We don't talk about greatness anymore. We talk about, small things. Small things like, the climate, the planet. The planet. Just a small thing, just a small thing. Sustainable planet for all of us to be able to live in. It's just a small thing, We don't talk about greatness anymore. Now we're doing these frivolous issues like keeping a sustainable, habitable planet. For just frivolous issues.
We talk about race. We talk
about COVID, a global pandemic. We just small, frivolous ideas. Like, how many people did we lose today? 1,000? How many people did we lose today? 7-day average of 1,963 people. January 16th, we had 410 deaths. Just, it's okay. Frivolous things. Frivolous things. Nobody needs to talk about that. Frivolous things.
We never talk about greatness anymore. Other countries are talking about their military and their power and their this and their that.
Who's these other countries? Do you see how he talks in these vague general... Who are these countries? Because I don't see that. Just the planet where I keep all my stuff,
country. You turn on the news and watch these fakers. They're fakers. You turn on the fake news at night and you watch what they talk about. It's all things that it's just not possible. And a country has to be thinking to the future. It has to be thinking about greatness. And we don't even think about it anymore. We don't think about it.
Thinking about the sustainability of this planet is thinking into the future. You absolute moron. I can't. Thinking into the sustainability of this planet, which affects us, and which is deemed one of the most important things with, in terms of like national security, by our DHS, has been determined that yes, the climate crisis is definitely something we have to address to. How about that for thinking about the future? How about getting us out of this global pandemic? That's talking about the future. Yeah, he is referring to Fox News. The only news that isn't fake news is the news station that agrees 100% with him. And that's people like OAN and Newsmax. Those are the real news.
And it's very sad, and we are going to change that around, and even in America we're witnessing cruelties that can be scarcely believed. They can't be believed. The left is now rationing life-saving therapeutics based on race, discriminating against and denigrating, just denigrating white people to determine who lives and who dies. If you're white, you don't get the vaccine, or if you're white, you don't get therapeutics. It's unbelievable to think this. And nobody wants this. Black people don't want it, white people don't want it, nobody wants it.
So, can you explain to me where this is happening? Can you explain to me where this is happening? And in what situation would this be a thing? Because strictly because of race. They are banning white people or preventing white people from getting the vaccine or even therapeutics. Treatments. Not cures, treatments. Can you provide an example?
It's not even believable. You saw this a week ago where it came out. Nobody can even believe it. They don't even talk about it, and they don't want to talk about it because they know it doesn't work very well for them. But the Wall Street Journal described the practice race-based preferential COVID treatments, and that's what it is. You get it based on race. In fact, in New York State, if you're white, you have to go to the back of the line to get medical help. Think of it. If you're white, you go right to the back of the line. This race-based medicine is not only anti-American, it's government tyranny in the truest sense of the word. The Supreme Court should intervene, shut down this flagrant civil rights violation immediately. Somebody has to get it to the court immediately.
Sure, go for it. Dr. Dragon Rider, subscribing with a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. 7 months. Thank you so much. Joining Dacapolion and Dina 2. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support.
By now, it should be clear to everyone that today's radical Democrat Party is driven by a mean and vicious spirit of left-wing fascism. This is no longer just socialism. And when Biden got elected, he didn't get elected on
left-wing fascism. Okay. Is Glenn Beck still relevant? No, thank goodness. I haven't heard that name in quite some time. Maybe he is in the right-wing sphere. But as far as I can tell, he doesn't make like headlines or anything anymore. I was quite comfortable forgetting about him.
Doing that.
So I guess we should call like Trump's like populist far right ideology right-wing communism. That's what we're gonna call it. That's what we're gonna call it. Right-wing communism. I just want left-wing fascism.
To destroy. There was no mandate. Number one, they lost. But even if they didn't, the margin was so tiny, it was so thin. They don't have the right to change our country and everything that we stand for. They don't have the right to do that. There's no better example than their ceaseless, relentless, unending campaign of hoaxes and witch hunts. I've gone through so many witch hunts now. I'm a professional witch hunter beater.
What?
Oh, think of it. And then it turns out to be fake. After 4 years of Russia, Ukraine. The impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, the slandering of Justice Kavanaugh. Nobody ever went through anything like he went through. And the harassment of my family, which is a wonderful family of people that are great people. They love our country. And it's happening in New York. They're all taking their orders from the Democrats in Washington. But it's happening in New York and beyond. Now the radical Democrats have yet another witch hunt. No different than Russia. The Unselect Committee of Political Hacks. They're Democratic hacks, and they're vicious. And every one of them voted to impeach me. Every one of them. And then you have Liz Cheney, who's now polling at 16%. And Adam Kinzinger, he's another beauty. He's a crier. He cries every time you talk to him. Who, by the way, just dropped out of the race because he didn't have the courage to run it. And we just lost Katko, too. He's gone now, too. They're falling fast and furious. The ones that voted to impeach, we're getting rid of them fast. Nancy Pelosi has turned the U.S. House of Representatives into a Stalinist show trial. That's what it is.
A Stalinist show trial.
Sit together and just vote, and people get impeached. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to our country what's happening. And it takes the meaning out of the word. The Unselect Committee is out of control, secretly and illegally collecting many months' worth of phone records that you don't even know about. This is like a communist country.
A communist country where I refuse to accept any responsibility or accountability for my actions, and I continue to perpetuate it right here.
Text messages, emails, location data on countless people without notifying them, giving them a chance to defend their rights in court. They have no right. And by the way, the people that go before the Unselect Committee, they call me and they said, I've never been treated so horribly in my life. Numerous people have called me and said, what was it like with these horrible people? They said, it was really bad. I have never been treated that way in my life. And
All right, I'm bored. I'm unironically bored. This is the same spiel that he does every single time. But he was impeached, it wasn't a hoax. It's a hoax in his mind, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna do a speed run through some of these headlines. I saw this live, and it was pretty disappointing, and... stop it. I don't want shoes. Stop trying to sell me shoes. Jesus. Tim Kaine said on Sunday he believes that the core provisions of the Democrats... Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, I don't... Oh, now it's, emails. I don't want... Stop it. Okay. Pressed by... on Sunday he said he believes the core provisions of the Democrats' social spending and climate bill will pass, but conceded that the most recent version of the measure is dead because of President Joe Manchin. Pressed by moderator Margaret Brennan of CBS Face the Nation if the massive spending bill is dead, citing lack of votes within the Democratic Party, Kaine expressed hope that some provisions will be approved. Yeah, some. Will it be sufficient? Will it address meaningfully the problems that we have? No. You're right that it's dead. The most recent version of it's not going to happen, but if you look at the core of the bill, I think the core is education and workforce, things like reduced childcare and education expensive, workforce training, and then support for workforce in areas like healthcare. So we're going to probably get some type of like workaround where we get a couple of crumbs, and yeah, that's about it. That's where it's heading. And it's incredibly frustrating when they could do more. Taking a quick peek at this one, DirecTV loss could cripple right-wing OAN. The largest satellite provider in the U.S. said late Friday will drop One America News, a move that could financially cripple the right-wing TV network for fueling conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. Nice. Days later, members... Oh, sorry, I forgot to read this part here. Democrats' hopes of passing... Okay, here we go. Days later, the members of the party started looking for ways to compromise with West Virginia, with the President Joe Manchin, and cobbled together provisions that he could support. The Senate Democratic Caucus is looking to pass the package to budget reconciliation, which means all 50 members must be on board for it to be approved. Okay, so... Here's the problem with the phrasing. There was already enough compromise with this guy. Okay? This isn't a negotiation. There's no compromise being done here. It's one side getting everything, and one side continuing to capitulate. That's it. There's no negotiations going on here whatsoever. It's just concession after concession after concession. Liberal media conspiracy. How's it going, Eric? That's what I wanted to bring up. Nice meme. Here we have Steve Bannon claiming that Trump rally will prompt Arizona to decertify Biden's 2020 election victory. The vote cannot be certified in any way. Yeah, contrary to popular belief, there's just no framework for any of this. He was never going to vote for any reconciliation bill. He might, as long as it doesn't have anything that touches any of his interests. On Saturday, White House Chief Strategist, former White House Chief Strategist Bannon released a new episode of his War Room podcast in which he claimed that the former president's rally, which we just watched part of it, would serve as a precursor for decertification. That's not how this works. It's a kickoff of 2022. It's just to keep that, it's just to continue fleecing the sheep, right? You just gotta keep it going, right? Keep it going. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen now. Oh, it's gonna happen now. Oh, it's gonna happen now. It's the kickoff of 2022. a huge speech in front of a massive crowd by Donald Trump, and of course they're all melting about who's on stage with them. They're all people who are going to get the decertification of the 2020 Biden electors. Okay, and how is that going to work? By which process is that going to work? Several individuals that were slated to speak at this rally, including Mike Lindell, of course, Paul Gosar, Andy Biggs, and several candidates running for a public office in the state who have received Trump's endorsement. Of course. At the event was scheduled after Trump canceled his January 6th speech at Mar-a-Lago. I want to make sure Jamie Raskin, Benny Thompson, and all you guys write this down. Take your number 2 pencils out. We're going to decertify. I didn't say we're going to certify Trump electors, but we're going to decertify Biden electors in Arizona, Wisconsin, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and in the great state of Georgia. Wow. That's amazing. Wow. And by which process are you going to plan to do that? Oh man, this is just to continue that, to continue this conspiracy theory, to keep going so that they can continue the grift, and they continue to be able to fleece off their supporters. Steve Bannon knows what he's doing. He's not like Trump, or he's not like the other, like Candace Owens, like who are like true believers. This is a complete grift. This guy knows what he's doing. Law professors from Arizona State told Poynter that there's no legal mechanisms to undo the appointment of electors or to change the certification once the president has been sworn into office. Of course, like, by which mechanism do you plan to do this? He doesn't even tell you. He doesn't even tell you what legal recourse they have. Oh, we're gonna decertify the electors by doing this process and filing with this court, which will trigger this type of whatever. Like, he's not even giving you how to do it or what's the plan, because there is none. Because there is none. It's just continuing to fan the flames, and I can't wait for Tim Pool's video on it. The guy who got a pardon from stealing funds from Let's Build a Wall fundraiser? Yeah, that guy who continues to fleece supporters. Yeah, that guy. A coalition of environmental groups slammed President Biden on Friday for refusing to immediately reinstate the federal moratorium on coal leasing on public lands that was discarded more than 4 years ago by the Trump administration. Nothing will fundamentally change. Thanks, Biden. Thanks. While the U.S. Department of Interior says that it's assessing its coal leasing program, the agency responsible for managing public lands has not taken steps to prevent new leases from being sold over a comprehensive environmental before a comprehensive environmental review is completed. Instead, Biden administration continues to process applications for new coal leases through 2021, helping spark a 14% increase in coal consumption nationwide, which climate scientists say contributed to the ongoing life-threatening surge in greenhouse gas emissions and global temperatures. Nice meme. I unfortunately have, sporadically, I try not to, but sometimes, like, something just so egregious comes up that I have to cover it, but I try not to. I try just to stay away from it. It never got to him to say that he will vote for it, and Manchin rant. Manchin already got his bill already, no matter the concessions, it will never get him to say he will vote for it. Yeah, I guess. All the views have been through a difficult truth washer, Hassan. Nice. Through tribal and conservation organizations, suing the DOI stressed that nothing meaningful has been done to mitigate air, water, and climate damages caused by the federal coal leasing program, and the U.S. Department of Justice has asked federal court to not rule on alleged legal violations in a filing submitted on Thursday. The Biden administration cannot have it both ways on coal. Jenny Herbine, managing attorney for Justice Northern Rockies office, said Friday in a statement, while they seem to recognize that it's indefensible to continue to allow coal leasing on public lands, they are also refusing to do the bare minimum by reinstating the Obama-era coal leasing moratorium. Yeah, like... Oh, James from the internet. Good peeps. Good peeps. As the coal industry in the state of Montana and the states of Montana and Wyoming defend former President Trump's coal policy in court, the Biden administration is helping to prolong it through inaction, indigenous rights and environmental advocates argue. Nothing will fundamentally change. Biden, who vowed on the campaign trail that he would halt fossil fuel extraction on public lands, came into office promising to be a climate champion. Well, I don't know about a climate champion, but he certainly said that he was going to do something. But 6 years after former President Obama paused our nation's coal leasing, we are now taking steps in the wrong direction. True. This is incredibly frustrating. This is just like indefensible. This is indefensible. After the DOI reversed the Obama-era moratorium in 2017, Earthjustice and coalition of conservation groups, states and Northern Cheyenne Tribe won a legal challenge to that policy in 2019. The court ordered the DOI's Bureau of Land Management to conduct an environmental review under the National Environmental Policy Act before ending the coal leasing moratorium. However, the groups added that the Trump-era BLM's analysis refused to consider the full impact of that choice, instead of only analyzing the impact of allowing 6 coal leases to move forward, including Alton coal mine expansion in Utah, which a federal judge in Utah determined that was approved illegally by the Trump administration. The BLM's truncated environmental analysis only applies to 6 federal coal leases, so the group went back to court in 2020 to challenge it. Last year, the Biden administration chose to maintain the Trump-era policy, ending the coal leasing moratorium. In May of 2021, tribal and environmental groups filed an opening brief challenging the Biden administration's decision to defend the continued coal leasing on public lands. In a filing just last week, the Biden administration's BLM defended 2 Trump-era resource management plans that failed to comply with a court order to account for the impacts of burning publicly owned coal, including on public health, and to consider alternatives that limit coal leasing in the Powder River Basin, the largest coal-producing region in the country. Yeah, this is unacceptable. This is just purely unacceptable. While Biden has promised that the US government will take the climate crisis seriously, yeah, we can see how seriously they're taking it. Jeremy Nichols, director of Wild Earth's Guardian Climate and Energy Program, said that it seems he has no intention of following through with his promise. Seems to be a trend, doesn't it? It seems to be a trend. Coal is killing our climate, yet the Biden administration is defending it. Saul emphasized that the president's inaction will worsen the climate emergency and the extinction crisis and lessen the chance that we'll be able to leave a livable planet to the future generations. How can Biden explain this to his grandchildren? Yeah, like that's a good point. Like I always try to say, like for those people who don't think it's like a serious problem, first of all, take a look around you. Take a look around you in all these adverse weather events. These unnatural or unusual, unprecedented seems to continue to be the words used. And furthermore, if you have children or grandchildren, are they going to look back and see, and are they going to look back and ask, what did you guys do? Why didn't you guys do anything? Is that the kind of, is that what you want to be remembered as? Really? When your grandchildren or your children's children, maybe children's children, look back and say, why didn't they do anything? Why didn't they do anything? Why didn't they just look up? Hey, here's a cool story. Bill would allow recordings in Florida classroom and force teachers to wear microphones in the freest state of the country. A new bill filed in the Florida legislature would allow video and audio recordings in classrooms, forcing teachers to wear microphones and allowing parents to review video of any, quote, incidents. HB 1055 is sponsored by Florida Representative Bob Rommel of Naples. Nice! Look at that. Because capitalism and making the magic line go up. Yeah, that's the only thing that's important. See, grandson who is now going to have to foot the bill for all of these issues and who's going to have to, hopefully, figure it out by then. See, grandson, what you don't understand is the line must go up. Do you see how rich a handful of people are? That's all that matters. And in case we think that there's some type of over-exaggeration going on, hey, why don't we just read the opening statement to this bill? Why don't we just read it really quick? Just in case we don't want the fake news media or anything like that overblow anything in proportion. A bill entitled An Act Related to Video Cameras in Public School Classrooms creating S101001.424, authorizing school districts to adopt a policy to install video cameras in public school classrooms, defining the term incident, requiring certain classroom teachers to wear a microphone, providing requirements for such cameras, requiring a written explanation if the operation of such cameras is interrupted. Damn, why don't we have this for police? I hope my sarcasm was evident. Yes, it was. I just played off it. Damn, freest state in the country, folks, where teachers are being required, requiring certain classroom teachers to wear a microphone, and if they are interrupted, then you gotta explain why. Like, is that a policy for police? I want to know that. I guess it depends on the department, right? Providing requirements for such cameras, requiring a written explanation if the operation of such cameras is interrupted, requiring district school boards to retain such explanation for a specified time period, requiring school districts to provide written notice of the installation of such cameras to certain individuals. Wait, why certain individuals? Providing requirements for retaining and deleting video recordings, prohibiting school and school districts from certain actions regarding such recordings, providing that school principals are the custodian of such cameras and recordings and access to such recordings, providing requirements related to student privacy, providing requirements for the viewing of such recordings, providing for an appeal process, providing for an incidental viewing of such recording by specified individuals who are not in violation of certain provisions. Wow, nice meme. Here we have cops who turn off body cameras. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Do we have like this type of like super strict, super surveillance on police officers? I wonder. I guess it depends on the department, but it seems to me like this should probably be the rules for police, not teachers. This is wild. I know that sometimes sarcasm doesn't translate well into text. That is true. That is true. But no worries. I think I got that one. Hey, that's awesome. Look at that. The freest state in the country. Parents of a child involved in an incident must be allowed to review the video within a week with a stipulation that the identity and other students who aren't involved must be blurred. So, like, do we have this type of, like, hyper-specific super surveillance for police where the people who are involved in a police shooting, the family who's involved in a police shooting, should be allowed to review the video within a week, like immediately release the footage, and things like that, who have to have a written explanation as to why a police officer turned off their body. Like, do we have this? Do we have this? Because imagine doing this to teachers. Teachers in school that adopt the cameras would be required to wear microphones, and cameras must be placed at the front of the classroom capable of monitoring video and audio from all areas except the restroom. I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. Parents, students, and employees would have to be notified before cameras installed. Principals would be in charge of all recordings, which must be kept for 3 months until the conclusion of any investigation or administrative or legal proceedings. After that, the video must be destroyed. Wow. Cool. Freest state of the country, folks, where Republican state legislators are literally trying to say that we need to put cameras in classrooms. Like, these people unironically do the whole 1984 meme and then do the thing. They literally cry about 1984 and blah blah blah, and literally they're doing the thing. Literally they're doing the thing. In 1984, because I've actually read that book, that's literally how the party operates. There's requirements for cameras and microphones everywhere. That's it right here. Literally, without doing the meme, literally 1984. Cool. Nice job, Florida. Nice job. Very good. Alright, I think we have a... Well, I have quite the handful of you folks here, so, folks, write this down in your calendars. January 20th, we're going to have a special stream with the Beckosphere on the climate crisis. We're just trying to figure out the time. But if you guys want to keep up, and I'm going to make an announcement today on the Discord, January 20th, okay? January 20th. We should be able to do it. We'll see what the logistics are right now. I'm going to try to figure out what the end is going to be. But keep up with the channel by joining the Discord, and that should be posted there. We're gonna raise the dumbest generation we ever have in modern history because no real teaching is getting done. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with and I know this is like, well, to realize, but a lot of them are getting super sick, and a lot of kids aren't wanting to attend school. It's all bad. Yeah, I think certain schools are even operating at like 20-something capacity. But you know, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Everything is fine. Super Poggers. Hey KTS Shine, how's it going? Yeah, so join the Discord. Make sure you keep up with the channel announcements, because we're doing that collaboration, which I'm very excited for. We might have I didn't even think of COVID. Yeah, that's why. That's part of it. Not only are like teachers, like tired and partially quitting, because of the conditions and stuff like that, but also, they're getting actually just sick. They're just sick. But you know, it's all good. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here, folks. I'm alright, I'm working like a madman. Oof. Well, don't work too hard. Jeez. We might have a special guest today, folks. Putting mics and cameras so parents can micromanage the underpaid, understaffed teachers makes their lives harder, will lead to decreasing quality of education. Yeah, not only that, that's also gonna incentivize a mass quitting. Maybe. I've been signing up for every free vaccine my health insurance offers. Hey, if you can do it, why not? It's free. It's free. Can't say no to that. Folks, we might have a special guest today. Our co-host, who rarely is able to join us on the weekdays. They might step in for a moment. I'm just waiting to get confirmation here. Oh, here we go.
Hello, hello, hello.
Howdy, howdy. Let me get everything up here. How's it going?
We have a slightly winterized burrito.
Nice. I have gotten 3 so far this year. Hey, if they're free. I just signed up for the pneumonia and flu vaccine. Cigna gives me gift cards for doing so. Hey, that's cool. Howdy, co-host. Welcome. Yeah, so do we get a sneak peek at what's going on outside?
Yes.
Nice. Hope you're hanging in there.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm loving life. What are you
nice.
talking about?
That's good to hear.
Oh, I can't go anywhere.
Snow day. It's a snow day.
My driveway is ice.
Your driveway is just ice? Oof. Wow.
I see with the stupid screen, but see the
I think
is defrosting a little now, and
I think we can kind of see the winter wonderland you've got going on back there.
Yep, a little bit. Look at you.
Oh, I think that's gonna have to wait, Dakapoleon.
Oreo.
the granite situation is gonna wait. I think that they just got snowed in, so that's not gonna happen for a while.
Oh yeah, that's probably gonna be like
Next week,
later this week.
later this week. Gotcha.
The
It
snow
looks beautiful.
It's starting to melt because it's 34 right now, which is as hot as it's gonna get today.
Wow. Like the scenery looks beautiful though.
So
It's
you
very
know
nice.
what's gonna happen, as per usual. It snows and then it melts and then
Yep.
it gets below freezing and then it freezes and then we have more ice.
Yeah, which is super dangerous. Oof.
And it's funny because my boss had texted everybody yesterday and said he was closing the shop Monday, and we were all like, okay, no problem. And then he responds to the group chat today and he goes, well, I drove into work and I'm here with this person, so if any of you want to come in, I think it's safe to say the roads are clear.
Oh, are they?
And I'm just like, yeah, the highway's clear. And it's clear to get into the shop probably, but my driveway is a different story. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could try. You'll just be sliding like a slip and slide.
Yep. And my tires are near the end of their life, so it's perfect for icy weather, so this is my little way to keep warm.
Nice. I moved
put
to
on my
SoCal, haven't seen snow in months.
I put on my little hoodie if I get really desperate.
Nice. Yeah, you look ready.
Oh, I am ready. And I mean, don't be fooled. Like, I'm legit wearing Crocs and socks.
Yeah, but you got but if those socks are good, it doesn't matter.
No, they're not. They're Florida socks.
Oh, they're okay.
And I just got on thin cotton pants. But my core and my head are nice and warm, so we'll be alright.
The roads are clear, yes, but my car is buried on the apartment lot, hasn't been plowed. Yeah, employers don't understand snow. Like, oh yeah, listen, I understand that you have like a big ice storm and like, ice kind of is a problem when you're trying to drive. But yeah, you're still coming in, right? It's 28 degrees here with a high 32. Yikes. Can you please just put yourself at risk just to come into work, please? They might as well just ask that way.
I know, right? I even told him, I'm like, if my driveway's icy, I'm staying home. I'm like, I can see cars going by. That's great that the rest of, everything is okay. But that doesn't mean my driveway that I can barely wheeze my ass up walking is safe to drive up, It's steep.
In Boston,
when it rains and freezes, it just becomes like an ice slide.
Right. Like, and furthermore, like, dude, do you not see the outside of my house?
Furthermore, to plead as self-defense.
In Boston, if you called out for 2 feet of snow, you're fired. In Georgia, 2 inches is a state of emergency.
Yeah.
Jeez. My previous employer told me a couple of years ago to just walk to work in a blizzard. Nice meme. Oh my god. Can you imagine? Like, oh yeah, we're just experiencing like a big blizzard storm, but you're still coming in, right? Well, I can't drive. You can walk, can you? What? That is wild. I mean, like, I don't doubt it because I have seen stories like that where people like literally are being told to come in. Like, well, I mean, yeah. We can't leave our job until there's a hurricane warning. Until there's a warning in place, and a warning says that there's hurricane like conditions expected in 24 hours.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, so we stay until that is in effect. So that and I leave at 8 p.m. when does Home Depot close? 9? Good luck.
What would you possibly ever need to buy for a hurricane?
Yeah, like what could you preparations? What?
And that's what cracks me up. Like you see some almost 5,000 people in our county lost power with this storm.
5,000 people. Wow.
Less than that. It was like 4,782, something like that.
That's still a lot.
But what cracks me up is that they're all on Facebook and they're complaining like, is there any way we can prioritize and, you know, maybe get somebody to come out and repair our power lines first, this, that, and the other. And I guess nobody's explained to those people that that's not how that kind of thing works. They have to go in a grid. They can't just skip around, because even if they come to your area and repair your lines, that's not going to restore your power per se.
Right.
So it's very important that these people who are doing the best they can do, working in extremely dangerous conditions.
Yeah, that's true. The linemen,
let them do their thing.
I get that 100%.
It's
Like,
not their
dude,
fault you don't have a generator. It's not
Yeah.
their fault you didn't buy a, propane heater, or it's not like you live somewhere that gets freezing temperatures and you don't have something to sustain yourself in case of no power. Sounds like you are not doing what you need to do to live here.
not only that, but like, I get that in some
And
circumstances,
putting other
like,
people at danger too, because they have to come rescue your ass.
not only like, yeah, I get that, but like also, what is the availability of that? Because like, I can also like make an argument for like, well, is that like a thing that people have access to?
Yes, it is. It's something that
Okay.
you can get at any home or hardware store any time of the year. Sometimes even gas stations have them. Everywhere sells firewood year round here.
Firewood,
So
okay.
so there's always firewood at a bare minimum. But you can go to Home Depot, Ace Hardware, Lowe's. They have multitudes of different types of heaters that don't require a power source. So like basically you could get propane, the ones with the little bottles, or you could get like a big propane heater that hooks up to a barbecue tank.
Oh, I see
all
what you're
kinds of
saying. Okay.
options, okay, there are things you can do. My neighbor doesn't have a generator. You know what he did? He went down in his garage. He got his propane heater. He brought it upstairs. He put it at one end of the house opposite the fireplace, and he's running the fireplace on gas and the propane heater.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. Yeah, why don't you just
It's
bury
like,
all the
what
lines?
hell?
Yeah, the Amazon warehouse made them come into a tornado, and so did that candle factory. Yeah, true. True. Like, it's just like ridiculous, because like, even if
Bullshit.
it is bullshit. Like, imagine like what productivity are you going to do if your like entire shop is destroyed anyways? Like, imagine like you're being told to go to work. Here's the problem. What if you actually don't make it to work? Like, I don't know, like, is that like a consideration that employers take? Like, what if you don't make it to work, especially in conditions where roads may or may not be iced? Yesterday I think you were telling me how like some people got yeeted off the side of the mountain because they slid. Multiple people got slid off the mountain.
They were literally driving 2 miles an hour. There's video.
2 miles an hour.
They were crawling and 4-wheel drive in a freaking buggy.
And they got yeeted off the side. Like, yeah, like, can you like
On a residential road, by the way.
Yeah, like, this isn't like some like thing that they were trying to do some like, a stunt thing. No, they were on a regular road.
They were on a regular road and they got yeeted.
So, no, I'm sorry, but if there's like a massive like ice storm or blizzard or anything when it comes to protecting like your life or your safety, like, I'm sorry, there should be like harder regulations. I've seen a girl get fired for being 90 minutes late because she was in an accident. Yeah,
It's insane that employers can do that kind of thing.
Right, like, oh, I'm sorry, you had like this traumatic incident, because like even small accidents, I'm sorry, even small accidents like can be a little bit rattling. And you get into an accident and you show up late to work and you get fired or disciplined. Like, dude, relax, bro. Like, I've gotten or like, for example, I've seen people get fired or disciplined, or I've heard stories about people getting fired or disciplined because they got a speeding ticket or whatever traffic violation, trying to get to work, trying to run to work.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like, I got fired for going to the hospital after being in an accident on my way to work. Wow. There
My
you go.
bottle opener has disappeared.
There you go. Hey, Alio, how's it going? Yeah, so like, this isn't like something that doesn't happen. 100%. That's just like unbelievable.
Oh, employers are insane.
I got a speeding ticket and lost my job for being late. Jesus.
Wow.
I'm new here. May I ask what the streamer's political leaning is? I lean. Well, actually, I don't know. I lean sometimes. Like if you watch me sitting down, sometimes I lean a little bit to the left, or like if you watch, sometimes like I'll be like leaning this way. So it just depends. Like 40 days after I turned to 18. Wow. That's just like, but the thing is, Alio, a lot of times they don't have recourse, unfortunately. Like, how are you going to sue them with what? In this situation, Pirate Ninja is 18 years old. With what recourse can an 18-year-old successfully challenge a company? Oh, that's true. Fake news. That's true. I wasn't completely honest. Sometimes I lean back. That is very true. Sometimes I do lean back. Hey, K-How, how's it going?
Why are you like this, Carlos? Okay, I found my bottle. Oh. I hope I don't get bit by a fucking snake or something back here.
Yikes. Don't worry, Marble will take care of it. Apparently.
She's been good so far, but you never know.
That's right.
It fell off. It yeeted itself off the table and was like halfway under the fridge.
Your bottle opener?
Yep. And it's a 50, it's like a 50 caliber bullet. So.
Oh, it's like it's one of those
Well, it's
how
not
do I
50
say?
Caliber. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that, but it's a giant ass cartridge. Okay.
Yeah, it's a cartridge that is a bottle opener.
Yep.
Nice. That's actually kind of cool.
My old boss got it for me.
Oh, nice.
And the keys.
In the Keys? Like Florida Keys?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Not any of my bosses here, like my old.
Oh, okay. Now, okay. Now it's all come together. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that, Beer Corn. Now it's all coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of these days I want to go back to the Keys.
It was so different last time I went. It was disappointing.
Yes, I've heard that so many times. You know, like, you're absolutely correct. I've heard that so many times that it's just not like how it was. Unfortunately, when I went to the Keys, it was like a brief moment, and I don't think that we went like all the way down to the Keys, or maybe we did. Oh wait,
I went
no,
a lot
I'm actually
growing up, so I was very familiar with them.
Actually, I lied because I remember seeing that sign, the 90 miles sign, 90 miles to Cuba sign. I remember seeing, I remember seeing that. So, so we did go all the way down to, what is it called, 0? It's just that we only been there once to that far. So I've been to Isla Morada once. And that's about it. That's my extent of the Keys. I want to go back there before, like, it gets, and this is sad to say, before it all gets messed up by climate change. There's been significant degradation to the ecosystems there, and it's just not the same.
Guys,
Nice.
it is starting to snow again.
Oh, it's starting to snow. It looks like a beautiful winter wonderland. Really, it does. I don't know how
You're
it
not
is.
going to be able to see it because it's like just barely snowing. I can almost barely see it. They're like little teeny tiny. It's like the snow equivalent of sprinkling. But
I want to see the Glacier National Park before it melts. Are you a liberal climate change acknowledger? I'm actually a far right.
I like to think we're pretty objective here.
I'm a far right fascist, leftist, communist, climate change, denier. That's my political position. I want to see the Glacier National Park before it melts. Yeah, wow. That's a good point. Dakapolyon.
Can see the Jeep's got a little snow on it.
Yeah. That looks like a winter wonderland. Like, I know it's different being there, but man, it looks so pretty on camera anyways.
It's even prettier in person.
Nature doesn't give a single crap about
snow.
politics. True. That is very true.
And neither do we.
Like, the idea that, like, I don't know, like, it should never really be that, it really should never be that complicated. Like, it seems to me like anybody who sits there and, like, evaluates the situation and evaluates all the data behind, the climate change, phenomenon, would be very concerned about the direction we're heading, and would be pretty much in line with the idea of, like, we've got to find a way as quickly as possible, in as many ways as possible, to reduce emissions, and we've got to do it now. We've got to do it decades ago, but this is the pivotal moment of what our decisions or indecisions will lead us to in the future. You know, nobody's saying that, like, the world is going to end or anything like that, but, like, certainly what we do here and now will determine which spectrum of the climate change, of the climate crisis, we'll end up with. Are we going to end up with, like, a vastly problem, you know, uninhabitable section where people will basically be put in the position where it's going to be hard to grow food, water? It's already being scarce. We're going to have problems with the ability to be in certain areas. We're going to have mass people being displaced, climate refugees. We're going to have islands that are going to completely be just gone. Entire parts of our coast where a lot of people live are going to be gone. Like, I don't know. It just seems to me that we should address this problem like 10,000 years ago. Far leftist sounds like some horseshoe theory. Yeah, no, I'm just memeing. Far right, lefty, communist, fascist.
God.
You have to you have to mind someone does not clip you when you do sarcasm and irony. Oh, it's gonna happen if it even becomes.
Kind of expect it to happen.
Yeah, first of all, like, if that's what you want to get me on,
all the time.
Yeah, like, if that's what you want to get me on, you're gonna have to do a little bit better than that. Better than try to clip, you know, me out of context. Obviously making obviously memeing on the idea. Like, I'm just memeing on the idea, but, like, it's okay. It's gonna happen. The real key is to not care, because, like, I mean, first of all, I'm not exactly like a massive figure, first of all, and second of all, like, it's gonna happen, and I'm pretty much, like, prepared for it to be a thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're really not that massive. You're even shorter than me.
That's true. That's actually true. I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures in the Discord, but that is actually physically true. Unironically, that is actually true. Go to the Discord, check it out. Somewhere in there, it may be far. You may have to scroll back a little bit, but I did post a picture of both of us, and it's clear.
You may or may not get a cookie for finding it.
Yeah, a virtual cookie. We'll send you a cookie emote.
Don't give it away. Damn it. It's supposed to be a joke because they don't know that till we send it to them. Gosh.
Damn. Well, that's on me. Yeah, no, I actually don't mind. Like, all memeing aside, all joking aside, I don't mind that people clip me out of context or call me whatever. Like, I really don't mind at this point. Like, I advocate for the things that I advocate, and I'm very, I want to say logical, or at least I try to be very structural when I do, like, when I'm not doing a bit, as to what I advocate for, and it's very repetitive, in how I advocate for the things that I do. It's very repetitive. Like, when I talk about, food, housing, education, and healthcare, that's literally the 4 pillars that I advocate for, and I am very consistent when it comes to that. I always talk about the same thing: food, housing, education, and healthcare. Food, housing. Like, I hammer that point down. I'm very conscious when I'm actually talking about the climate crisis. I cite
Funny.
I cite the IPCC and I go through different articles advocating and being very adamant about the situation when it comes to the climate crisis. That is like my main thing. I know everybody has a main thing, but that one's mine. Radio Dawn, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome. Look at that. It's not even Saturday. Look at that. And we get a little cute kitty cat.
He's a stinky boy right now.
Not sure how I wasn't in the Discord. No problem, but now you are. Look at that.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, there's the cardinals and stuff are so pretty on the white snow.
Yeah. That's awesome. We had a couple of cardinals here. We had a family of them chilling here. I assume there were folks who came down from the, or tried to flee from the snow.
The birds. Oh, I lost you for a minute.
What happened? You said the birds?
I said the birds seem to really love the snow.
Some do.
All the ones
Some
here
do.
do. They seem really like it.
Yeah, that's why they're there.
Well, it doesn't snow normally here.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
So it's kind of like interesting to see that they like the snow. Like they're not avoiding it, they're not hiding from it. They seem to almost be playing in it.
That's cute. Imagine getting canceled. That couldn't be me. I was never accepted to begin with. True. There we go. See, I'm uncancelable because like I'm uncancelable because there's nothing that you will clip. There is nothing in the show that you will clip that will be like, oh, wow, look at this guy who says he advocates for X, Y, and Z, and he never ends up advocating for that. Wow. Challenge accepted. No, that wasn't a challenge. That was memeing.
That wasn't the challenge, that was memeing.
Look at this dude who advocates for all these things and then, like, is a complete hypocrite. Wow. Nope.
Sounds about like you.
You're not gonna catch me on that one. Funny how most people who deny climate are from first world countries. The injustice of this now hits people who live in third world, where effects of climate change is felt. Well, if you mean that, if you mean that, like, of course, the climate change hits, like, the poorest nations in the global south and stuff like that first, you would be 100% correct. We have this perception, I think, that it's not going to affect us, or it's not going to affect us that bad, and we're just gonna ride it out. It's gonna be okay. We're just gonna ride it out. You know, just don't look up, and we're gonna be fine. When in reality, when all these chickens come home to roost, it's not gonna be the case. It's not gonna matter. It's gonna affect us all. But yes, you are correct. It's gonna hit the people in the global south the hardest and first. That's true. That's true. That's true.
You can neither confirm nor deny.
No comment, but just strap in. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride. I agree. I agree, Mono. Unfortunately, you would be correct. It is going to be a wild ride, and unfortunately, not enough people are realizing the scope and severity of the climate crisis to create what would necessarily be the political will to move things in the right direction. I don't know how it looks like you were leaning on the Jeep, so you could be an inch or taller than Bree. Oh, okay, so you did go back and see. Oh yeah, I looked like I was leaning, but no, it's actually the opposite. She's actually, I think, like, what, 2 inches taller? Something like that? An inch or two?
I'm 5'4.5".
Yeah, so that's about 2 inches, and something. Yeah, about 2 inches taller than me.
can neither confirm nor deny.
Fortunately for me, I have no moral compass or empathy, so I will sleep soundly regardless. Yeah, you're gonna sleep soundly in your island, surrounded by water as you drift off into the to the ocean.
Come get some eggs, Carlos.
Nice,
God, there's so many of them.
nice. Oh, and that's it. We're gone. Hello? Rip. Oh, there we are. There we
So
are.
pretty out.
Yeah, it certainly looks pretty. It's picture perfect.
Bailey likes the snow too.
Bailey. Look at that. Free Saturday Catterday. It's not even Saturday. Monday Catterday, I guess.
Monday man. Monday man alone. Oh.
Oops. There we go.
He's looking at himself.
Such a pretty kitty, yeah. 100. 100%. Look at that. Look at that. How could you say no to a face like that?
Shocked him.
How could you say no to such a pretty face like that?
I'm sorry, son. We built up some static electricity. I can't. He's so spoiled. Will you see? He said his own.
There he goes.
I shocked him again. He's mad.
Oh, man.
What's happening is like if he rubs up on my blanket and the chair at the same time, it shocks him.
Oh, that's right. You were saying static?
Yeah. But he's so spoiled. He's got his own piece of granite in the bathroom to sleep on while I take my bath. And we ordered him his own freaking rabbit pelt to lay on.
He's got his own bed, his own box, his own Bailey box.
Which box? Which bed? Do you know how many boxes and beds?
He's got all of them.
Cat has.
He's got all the boxes and all the beds.
Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes right around here, and 1, 2, 3 beds and 1, 2 cat condos. Just within sight of where I'm standing.
Yeah. He's got it all.
He's a spoiled little shit.
Yeah, as you should. As he should. As he should.
He's too funny.
Makita is out there keeping my girlfriend company.
Oh, I think they're gonna wrestle.
Bailey's like, do you want to play? Like, no, I don't want to play.
And Oreo's like, knock it the hell off. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
Oreo's
saw
the
that.
referee there.
She was like, knock it off. I think they're gonna do it again.
What are your predictions for this year? I have no idea. Sorry, I should ask, what type of predictions? Bro, how can you trust the information of the world if our own brain was somehow made thousands of years ago? Dude, I wish I could follow the high resolution statement you just made. I really wish I could follow that. I have no idea what you mean by predictions. Do you mean like the electoral predictions? Like the
Oreo, don't be starting shit.
the midterms? Like, are you talking about the midterms? Are you talking about how because you mentioned something about climate change earlier. Are you talking about like how climate change is going to progress? Well, it just depends. Pure corn. In the terms of like economics, I suspect that we're going to be more or less in the same boat for this year. And political affairs, that's kind of a vague area. If you're talking about like the American politics, like our midterms, my prediction for this midterm series, I guess, midterm electoral year, is that the Democratic Party is going to lose. My brain was only made 50 years ago. It's an upgraded model. Yeah. Same. My brain was made, well, actually, my brain was made about 30 something years. So I may have like the updated model after that one. Dustin. Vermin Supreme or Bust 2024. I still have the Vermin Supreme sticker. Kitty cats.
You guys done fighting for now?
Everybody chill. Everybody chill.
I don't know, Bailey's ears and Marble's ears are sus.
Yeah, they got their ears like squashed to the sides like this.
Mm-hmm. Although Bailey also does that when he sleeps, so hard to tell. He's even evil looking when he sleeps. It's funny.
This is the cute animal video. Wait. What are you sending me, Mono?
Well, of course, I believe that I paved the way for Donald Trump. I brought ridiculousness politics.
Oh no.
What happened? Did the light get turned on?
My brain was made over the course of about 37 years, give or take. Yeah, so, well, so we've got, like, similar models. Similar model brains. So we've got the latest installation. Cat body language is very interesting. True. I've seen so many, like, YouTube videos and stuff like that. Oreo.
Drop. Hey. I said drop. No treat then.
She's like, no,
drop,
I'm on.
no treat. Drop.
Oreo winked. Yeah, Oreo is adorable. She's also way too smart.
She knows.
Way too smart.
But watch it. But if I come over here, oh, you drop it. I don't even say nothing. Like, she knows where the treats are, and she just wants to wait till you're over by the treats. Pick it up. Where's your toy? Bring it over here. Drop. Good girl.
She's like, why would I do what you want me to do if there's no treats involved?
Oh,
but if,
honey, Daddy moved your treats. I don't know where they are.
But if you move towards the treat section, then she'll be fine. She'll do it.
Yep. But I don't like when she brings it over and drops it before I tell her to.
It is constantly upgrading and replacing cells. That is true. That is actually true. That is actually true.
I made her sit and lay down for her treat. Good girl.
Yeah, so to, I think I already addressed this, Pure Corn. So economically speaking, we're probably going to be in the same situation for this year. It's a political affair if you're talking about how things are going to go in the midterms. Not good. Dems are going to get...
Exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where we stand. My predictions.
I don't know if I showed you, I got all my family members Georgia cups. Starbucks does this, like, anywhere series where when you go to different states, when you stop at a Starbucks, you can get a cup, and they have, like, all the different pictures of things in that state.
That's right.
Well, I happened to take Karina and my mom to Starbucks while I was down in Florida, and I saw that they had a Florida cup, and I don't even need it or think I'll be using it, but I got it, and I'll do something with it.
Yep, that's the one. When we go to the store, there's a Starbucks inside the store, and they sell these state cups or whatever. Yeah, the Florida ones.
Yeah, but when you guys come up here, maybe you'll have to get a couple Georgia ones for your parents.
Yeah. Did you watch any of the Trump rally? The crowd looked so bored. Yeah, we watched a couple. I think we only got to like 30 minutes of it, 36 minutes of it before we were like, all right, you know what? That's enough of that.
I'm sorry, did I make a face?
we made it a whole 30-something minutes before.
Before all your brain cells died.
Yeah, like that was enough. Greetings, Carlos and co-host. Howdy. Haven't seen you in the studio for a while. Yeah, we're here. Time to get ready for that hot dinner. Nice. You made it longer than the crowd did. Wait, isn't this what Trump said the last 6 times we went to one of these? Exactly. I've heard about people talking about another housing bubble that's about to explode. I am not convinced. You know, there was concerns about that. But I don't know if that's how it's gonna play out. We'll just have to see. There was a time where I was concerned about that, but I don't know if that's how it's gonna play out. A lot of these things are based on feelies, unfortunately. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an economist, nor do I have all the data to substantiate any type of like predictions when it comes to the housing bubble. It seems to me like it was moving in that direction. I don't know. In terms of the housing market, I don't know. I really don't know anymore. And that would be so nice. I want a house. Same. Same.
I know, you need to get your butt up here.
You made it longer than most of the crowd. Well, I'm proud of that. I made it more longer than the crowd. Look at that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen when. I don't know what's gonna happen with the housing market or whatnot. I'm not really
I don't know.
sure.
I think some shenanigans are about to go down.
You think so? Maybe. I don't know. It isn't out of the realm of possibility.
There's already been crazy things happening, and they don't seem to be slowing down any.
Yeah, like the big concern originally was like the idea that there's gonna be like so far I think that the government has prevented keeps pushing back the you know, the timeline when it comes to like all of these laws that they have for rent moratoriums and things like that so far have been holding up, but I don't know what's gonna happen. Honestly, wonder if the housing market is inflated because companies are buying up empties. Yeah, that's part of it. Yes, that's true.
Oh yeah, there's large groups buying homes up because they can afford the inflated prices and normal people can't.
Right, and then they keep them and hoard them and empty, even if they're empty or not, and then they flip them however it is they do. Maybe in the wrong price. I think the USA has housing and maybe in the wrong places and the prices may be crazy. I think in certain areas, certainly. But I think that the solution would be just to, first of all, there's got to be ways of making it so that massive corporation, like investment firms, can't just buy up a whole bunch of houses and like shaft like people who would be homeowners. And like basically it's creating a cycle where at some point your options are only going to be to rent, right? Screw home ownership, right?
Yeah,
like,
and you can barely afford surviving if you do rent.
right, and even then it's like, well, what are you supposed to do? Just not have a house? It's like it's not acceptable. I don't think that
Why do you need a house? You can just
like
barely
why,
be able to survive and
just
live in this box here.
Yeah,
Listen
live
to
in
all the
this in a
rules.
shoebox over here. And it's wild that there's even legality wise the ability for a investment firm to just like hog up a whole bunch of houses and shaft people. Like, I don't know, it just seems to me like there's a lot of things that are wrong in the way they I don't want to say lack of regulation in terms of like how they do it, and it's just wild that there's like little blocks of houses that are empty. I can't remember the name, but the guy who laid off a bunch of people over Zoom saying he would hope he wouldn't cry if this one was one of the companies buying up houses. Yeah. I actually saw that story. He laid off like a whole... Yeah, he laid off a whole bunch of people. He's like, you know, this is always the hardest part of my job. And anyways, if you're in the Zoom meeting, haha, get effed. You're fired, or you're no longer... what is it? Your employee contract is effective... is done effective immediately. Your employee status at this company is effectively immediately. And he laid off a bunch of people, as Pirate Ninja just said, after getting billions from the US government, and just said, haha, peace out, I got mine. Do we have a shortage of houses? Technically, no. Like, actual physical, like, supplies, no. They're just being bottlenecked. They're just being bottlenecked by massive corporations like the, you know, the corporation we just described. In the UK, there's
It's
like actually not enough
disturbing.
houses. Yeah, okay, that's different than actual physical not enough houses. Here we do. We have, oh man, what was that stat? Where there was like so many houses per homeless people. Like it was just wild how
Oh, don't get
many.
me started on that. Ooh,
Yeah, like
do not
how
get
many.
me started on that.
Yeah, and remember, a lot of also like, these like homeless folks are also like veterans and stuff like that, are just out in the street because the U.S. government cares so much about
And that's another one to not get me started on.
Yeah, like we absolutely have more houses than there are homeless people, right? Like, why can't there be certain programs where you have either?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there something like that in England where, or maybe it's, I don't know, somewhere over there, where they have like abandoned buildings or buildings that aren't being used for anything, and they'll temporarily allow people to rent them out and stay in them.
Yeah, depending on where you go, I think there's some European countries. Oh, okay. So Mono are resident Britmonger or resident resident UK person alongside with Astro. No, I think that there's programs in certain European countries. The one that comes to mind is Finland, where they did something to that effect. They either repurposed abandoned buildings, or they just straight up made like apartments where people could literally stay there without no strings attached, and they would have all kinds of resources, from mental health resources to job resources, and saw that over 85% of them were able to get themselves back up and out there.
Yeah, that's my bad. I forgot exactly where I had read.
Yeah,
There
I
was
think it's
something like that.
I think it's Finland, and in that specific city where they did this program, they basically eliminated the vast majority of homelessness. Like, they just literally gave them an apartment with resources to get jobs or mental health if they need it. Like, everything that they would need to essentially get themselves back up was provided, and that's it. They were wildly successful. So it turns out that if you just, give people the helping hand, and especially in like situations like this, it turns out that works. We absolutely have more houses than there are homeless people. There are multiple houses sitting empty for each homeless person, right? So like the solution could be something to that effect, where like if you have so many rows and rows and rows of empty houses, why not have programs where either the government has some type of buyback program where it tells these companies, these massive companies, like, hey bro, you've had these freaking houses collecting dust, doing nothing. No, you can't do that. We'll offer you like a buyback program where you would get X amount of money, and you essentially buy them out, and then give specific programs for these homeless people, get all these like abandoned buildings and repurpose them. Like there's certainly multiple ways, expand like public housing or something like that. Like there's different ways you can solve this problem. We just don't care. We just don't care.
That's terrible.
We did have rules that forced local authorities to take rough sleepers off the streets. Yikes. You can squat in abandoned factories, but you can't squat in buildings meant to be lived in. That's wild. Yikes, Mono. You can't squat in abandoned buildings even if they're meant for residential use, which is wild. Yeah, that's not cool. I mean, like, dude, there could be so many like different programs and solutions that you can apply to solve like homelessness, and it's like sad that we can't even like attempt
to do that. Basically.
Yeah, we can't seem to do that, and we can't seem to like even at least offer some type of like solutions to any of this. Whereas like, I know it's small, but like there are places where they have done these type of solutions and it seemed to have worked. I think Austria has vast housing stocks where people must use if they're homeless. The streets are clean and there's no sign of poverty. Yeah, like I know it's amazing. Like when you give people like the tools that they need, it's amazing how they can attempt to work on these problems, right? Like, damn, food, housing, education, and healthcare. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that, deploying these, like, needs across the board, that it would help? Like, who would have thought?
What radical person would think that way, Carlos?
Yeah, some radical person. Complete and total anarchy. Total anarchy. The U.S., the United States of America will go to hell in a handbasket the day we decide to actually be conscious of our citizens.
I 100% believe that.
Nice meme. No, I yeah, that's true. Like, it's meant with irony, except that's actually how some people think. What's amazing about Austria is they emphasize the quality of living in public housing. Yeah, like that's beautiful. Like that, there are there's multiple pilot tests of the concepts that I talk about. Like food, housing, like education, healthcare. That's a big one. Where time and time again, it proves itself to have more benefits and actually meaningfully attempts to address these issues than just continuing the way we are. Like it's like atrocious, the type of policies, or I guess I should say lack of policies that we have here in this country, where I mean, it seems to me like other people have figured it out, and here we are dragging our feet even on the most basic stuff like healthcare.
But we're the most advanced country in the world. What are you talking about?
True. A big chunk of the problem is caused by drugs. No, I don't think so.
With a straight face.
No, a lot of these problems are caused by economic issues, socioeconomic factors. I think that is secondary, to be quite frank. I don't believe that it's just caused by drugs. I think that there are socioeconomic factors that come into play, and that is secondary. I mean, like, I haven't seen any evidence to suggest that it's only, drugs. Like, if you just Thanos-snap drugs, then it'll all be good. That's not how this works. I think that there's an economic factor, especially in the United States, that lead people to be homeless, that lead people to be stuck on a hamster wheel that they can't get off. I mean, in some cases,
sounds like a legit.
Like, the vast majority of homeless are not on drugs. The drugs cost a lot of money. Well, yeah, they also have to have money to buy said drugs. That's true. If like, maybe it's like a system where we prioritize the profits of a small, mega corporations and just shaft people out of basic necessities. Maybe that's probably more of a factor to do than drugs. I mean, like, if you ended drugs, which by the way you should, if you ended like the criminalization of drugs and destigmatize it so that people get help, those that need it, that would be a different scenario. But
it's worked in certain states in the country here, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. The decriminalization and destigmatization of drugs is beneficial. I think just as an overall policy, I think it would be best to do it. But it has nothing to do with fueling the homeless crisis, right? Like that's a separate issue if you want to talk about it. If you want to talk about that issue, then the solution is to just decriminalize and destigmatize drugs, and that's it. I watch drive-through videos. Yeah, but that's correlation kind of problem, where you think that the cause of the homelessness that you're watching anecdotally is because they seemed to be stoned off their heads. Do you know that? And secondly, that is not to say that is what caused said homelessness. You're talking about secondary problems that are not related, or sometimes maybe, but that's not really what's fueling it. If the U.S. ever considers having public housing, maybe consider not segregating the area in where these projects are built on. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And like also, like, if you're homeless, I think like your priority, generally speaking, your priority is to survive. So yeah, I think that all that is secondary. Like, I completely disagree. If we give them all homes and money, then we would cause inflation, capitalism sacrificing a chunk of the population to protect capitalism from destroying itself with inflation. Yeah, but like, that's not even how inflation even works. I think that's like a common, like, trope. I don't even know if that's how that works. Maybe I'm wrong. But but your logic, should it be followed to its natural conclusion, would actually cause inflation. That level of thinking, but for the wrong reasons. That sounds like supply side inflation, which doesn't have to happen if corporations aren't greedy. True. Those levels of poverty drives crime too. Yes. Social. Yes. 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 That's true. Hey, if you want to drive down crime and you want to make this a better place, then welcome. Welcome to my solution. Give people food, housing, education, and healthcare. Yes, that will drive crime down too. I'm not saying it's just going to Thanos snap crime away, but it certainly will help.
It'll help though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because it turns out a lot of crime, or at least like a good chunk of it, can be brought back to socioeconomic problems. Which, if you take away the underlying scenarios that cause said socioeconomic problems, then you will see a more positive outcome. I know, who'd have thought? Desperate people commit crime, they're definitely more likely to. For sure.
Doesn't sound legit.
That doesn't sound legit. It's not only that doesn't sound legit, despite it being backed up by several socioeconomic studies. Like I think that it's very clear. It's very clear. If you want to address crime, then take away the incentives. Right? If people have food, housing, and education and healthcare, the likelihood that they will be driven to crime is lower. Is hell of a lot lower. It's palpably different when you give people the tools that they need. And it's just been borne out by constant studies. It's been pretty consistent.
Will's trying to get Bailey to play fight.
So,
I tell you.
So yeah, I think Astro just kind of touched on it right there. It does drive crime. Well, generally speaking, very impoverished areas have higher rates of crime. Desperation, people who see no way out, things like that, will be more likely to commit more crime. I mean, that's just the truth. So, you address those underlying issues, you get a positive outcome. Food, housing, education, healthcare. Boom. That's my solutions. I have said this multiple times. I have talked about the ideas and why they work and how they would work multiple times. So I think that my logic and prescriptions seem to be pretty sound. In my opinion, they're logically sound in my head. They seem to play out pretty positively.
Sounds pretty unreasonable to me.
Sounds unreasonable.
Well, I think so. Yeah.
Congress is clearly an attractive nuisance. We should disband it so we can stop criminals. True. Maybe my idea is too radical for the US. I guess public housing should start somewhere and then progress on for the concerns of quality of living, at least in the US. Yeah, like in the context of the US, oh no. Dude, you start talking about how public housing has so many like positive benefits, not only just for like public health, mental health, economic positive sides to it too. You'll start being called like a radical here in the US, in the context of the US. So yeah, I get you, pure corn, but no, it's actually that is a very common sense, like moderate, like I almost want to say it's pretty milquetoast. The idea that public housing actually has a lot of positive benefits. Who would have thought? Like people not worrying about having a roof over their head, not worrying about
why would that help?
Why would that help? Gee, I don't know.
You're not supposed to live your life in a constant state of panic and stress?
Yeah, you mean you're not supposed to be living your life in a constant state of panic, stress, running that hamster wheel? Damn.
I've been doing it wrong.
Yeah, me too. Who'd have thought? Just don't make the French mistake of segregating public housing. Yeah, I don't think it should be segregated. At all. Like I don't see why. Like what's the problem? Just make public housing. Like I completely agree with you. Do not there's no reason for segregation when it comes to public housing along like any lines whatsoever. Like If you have the ability and the area and the possibility of making it happen, just make it happen. Jesus Christ. Like, the problem is still there. Fix it. Like, the problem of the homelessness crisis is still there. Fix it. Like, there are certain policies that this government could take, that the Democratic Party could take right here and right now, actually, in our budget reconciliation bill, that could potentially be used for parts of that if they really wanted to. But, you know, segregated, like how, like if you're worth $5 million, then you shouldn't be allowed to live in public housing. Yeah, if you have $5 million, there's no reason for you to need public housing unless you were kicked out of your home. I don't see it. We're talking about not yeah, like we're talking about not giving not putting up what is it called, means testing for people that need it, not putting up walls for people that actually need it, if that's what you mean by segregation, because I think that's the vibe that I got. You just don't make it like means tested so that the people that can't get it, the people that need it can't get it, or it limits the amount of people that need it. Don't means test it. Just do it. I don't know how to say it. Just get it done.
Like,
Jesus Christ.
For a lot of people that I know in Florida who don't make enough money to live in the regular apartments, but they make like $100 too much a month to pay for the Section 8 stuff, and it's like,
right.
Well, how the hell does that even make sense?
It doesn't. So like, oh yeah, no. You have to be. It incentivizes people to be like. Then what? You have to be even poorer? No, just give people the tools that they need. Jesus Christ. Like, holy shit.
That kind of stuff really gets me going. It does.
Yeah, like I don't. It should get people going. Like, it should get people going. It should get people angry that, you know, these folks who you know, aren't lazy, who are genuinely people who work, pay taxes, it gets shafted for basic necessities.
It's disturbing. It's greatly disturbing.
Yeah, like I don't get it. Like you shaft like single, like I don't know, like a single mother out of like super necessary EBT because she makes $100 more than she should, or something like that, or like a person who's
desperate. It could even be $1. Like,
yeah.
Dollar amount, and if you go past that, you're screwed.
Right, because like Eco Resto Dragon just put up, if you get a raise at your job, which is good, and it's just a little bit, but that amount puts you over the limit for what you need, like food or like food stamps or like housing subsidies or whatever it is. What tiny help we do have, what joke of a social safety net system that we have just gets all taken away. But that little tiny raise of your job isn't going to replace that. Like, you still need that to put food on your table. And
that is so true.
It's just like, dude,
it's
you know,
such a catch-22.
Yeah, like the people were like trying to desperately make it by like a couple of, like, the people were desperately trying to make it by with an EBT card aren't the problem. It's the people who offer just like $9 an hour. It's spit in people's face, like, by offering $9, $10, depending on where you live, and keep them in that hamster wheel, keep them needing to spin that wheel. Like, it's just wild to me that this is an okay system and people are kind of just like, I would almost want to say apathetic to it. But what you said earlier, it should get people going. It should get people going to hear that somebody got a medical bill for $10,000 because they broke their leg. It should get people going that somebody had to pay $750 for an ER visit because of COVID. Because they misdiagnosed COVID and it ended up being like a flu or something, and then they gave them like a couple of flu medicine and sent them on their way and sent them a $750 bill for an ER thing during the COVID pandemic, I should say. Like, that should get people going. That's a problem. That's right, Dustin. That's right. Like, that should get people, like, these type of stories that we hear, and uniquely here in the US, about, like, how people get, like, in the mail, like, these tens of thousands of dollar medical bills. I mean, Jesus Christ, like, it should get people going. You should look at that and be like, why is this right again? How does this make sense again? Like, how is this okay again?
Oh, I'm sorry. You needed basic medical care? That'll be half your annual salary, please.
Yeah, that'll be half the, or, you know, we could always make payment plans so that every time, you know, that job, that hard work goes into paying medical debt, or you gotta pray and hope that the most efficient insurance called GoFundMe helps you, gets that going. You gotta hope on that, or just be perpetually in debt. Frank Rugged Guy, thank you for the follow. I'm about to lose my state benefits because I now make $13 an hour. And I have a question. Is $13 an hour like anywhere remotely close to like a living wage to cover your expenses? Because my guess is going to be no. But just to kind of illustrate the point. Exactly. Oh, it's not a no, it's a fuck no. So there we go. Like, the point is being illustrated in real time. And, you know, it's beyond me. It's beyond me that we've just kind of grown apathetic, that this is just the way things are, and, you know, there's no alternatives that we can offer. Why should we even question the system that we're in? Why should we even begin to ask questions and be like, hey, you know what, something doesn't make sense here. Like, things aren't quite adding up here. Why is the economy doing so great, but like I'm here stuck treading water at $13 an hour? Like, I don't know, dude. Like, it's wild to me.
I agree with you, and I get really frustrated with the people who are like, well, nobody should be working at a retail store or restaurant for a living. I'm like,
then who the fuck is gonna do those jobs?
So I'm like, okay. He's like, and they're like, well, they shouldn't be making as much money as we are. I'm like, if they make more money, we will make more money too.
Yeah, because then you go to
what is the concept of this that you don't understand?
Right, that's exactly it. I saw I saw this very thing. Like, oh, so you're telling me that the burger flipper at McDonald's should make a living wage? Yeah, because then you go to your boss and be like, yo, McDonald's is hiring at a living wage. Either pony up or I'm gonna go do a more chill job. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, that's the whole point. And furthermore, you're acknowledging the fact that these jobs need to be done. You just don't want to pay like what they're worth. Like, you acknowledge the fact that these jobs still have to be done.
How much they make?
Right, yeah, first of all, like, yeah, you should be in solidarity with them, first of all. And, like, second of all, like, yeah, dude, that means that you can go to your boss and be like, hey, McDonald's is offering, like, a living wage at whatever X amount it increases. I would like a raise. If not, I'm gonna apply over there. That's a living wage. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get it. Like, people, like, it's just lack of, like, I guess, awareness. Lack of awareness that, like, we have the capacity to have power. We have the capability of saying, hey, you know what? Something ain't right around here, and we need this fixed and organized. Because that's how, like, that's how it's done. That's literally the only way it's
the
done.
little birds are so cute.
Chirp, chirp, chirp.
It's almost like if you watch a video of somebody guiding a horse by their reins. That horse is more than 10 times as powerful as the person holding the other end of that thing. It is 100% perceived restraint that the horse is going along with the, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
it's perceived.
It's the same thing with us. It's like, oh, okay, well,
we're the ones pulling this whole thing. What if we just didn't want to? Or what if one day we just realized, like, you know what? Hey, we're the ones pulling this all, we're the ones pulling this thing forward. Yeah, get effed. Like, you know, we could do that if we wanted to. I'm glad my mom is finally, for the first time in my life, making an actual living wage. Wow, that's awesome. hey, I'm really happy about that, and I wish that was across the board. But I'm really happy for your mother. First time in your life that she's ever actually making a living wage. Wow, that's certainly a story. Wow. Sorry about that. I'm sorry for the somewhat word salad. I'm stoned. That's all good. That's all good. Yeah. So I mean, it's just a matter of like understanding that it's okay to like kind of poke holes in what's going on here, because something definitely it shouldn't feel fair or right at all. All right, folks, it is about 11 o'clock, or sorry, 12, just over 12, I think. 12:30, jeez. 12:30.
Good times, good times.
Good times. Good times. 12:30, they have different minimum wages here in Oregon. 14 in city places like Portland, Metro, 12 in standard no Metro, 12 for non-urban areas, 12 is where I am. I think it should depend before like we kind of make it into like a federal kind of we move into the federal way. I think one of the ideas that we could do for minimum wage is to make living wages based on the areas that you live in. So take it like an average of cost of living of, I don't know, like you said, Portland, or cost of living of Miami, or cost of living of wherever areas you are, and make that the bare minimum wage until things kind of catch up. And then you'd say, okay, like at the federal level, we should do X, Y, or Z at that point. But that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong about going about it, but I think a system where you start with increasing local minimum wages based on the average of local cost of living would be a start, maybe. I'll have to think about that. But that's certainly a start for sure. Because, like, obviously the cost of living in Miami is not going to be the same in, I don't know, Portland. It's not going to be the same in wherever. We're slowly going to 15 in Illinois, but we won't get there for 3 more years. Jeez, by then, depending on the situation. And don't get me wrong, I understand where they got the where they got the $15 as an average for the whole country. I understand exactly where they got that number. It makes sense, but I think that like maybe it's more, I think it would be quicker results if you do it like at a state level, where you can have the state legislator designate living wages based on your county or based on your city or whatever. That might be a better way of going about it. I'm not sure. It could make sense. Initially it does in my head, but I'll have to think about that one. But that's what I think about that at Caristo. It makes sense, you know, you raise wages to living standards based on the cost of living of where you are. Like, I don't know if that won't cause any other negative domino effects. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that. I'm not sure if it'll cause any type of negative domino effects. I don't think so. It makes sense, but it could also get super messy. Yeah, that's why I'm not like... It's a solution that it's in my head, and I've talked about it before, and I've said before that I would support something like this. I would like to see the logistics on it, and I think it could work in my head. It seems to work out. It's just something that, like everything, we'll have to play out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, and like, hey, if you propose a bill or you get like some type of what are they called, ballot measures or ballot measures or constitutional measures in each state, and get the conversation going about raising the wages, like, hey, that's a great path forward. That's a good conversation starter to get people to vote on things that would benefit them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you don't even gotta put D or R next to it. Just state voter initiatives. There we go. Yeah, just like we did in Florida, Ruby Red Florida, voted overwhelmingly to raise wages. So like, I don't know, it's something that could be a thought.
It's going to be a very interesting journey, I think, to see which way this goes.
Yeah, man, we're in for the ride, that's for sure. Strap in, everybody. Like Mono said, strap in, folks. It's going to be quite the wild ride. Do employees in the U.S. have bargaining rights for their wages? Ha. Here's the bargaining. Here's how the bargaining works. Hi, I would like to be paid more money. Employer goes, that's cool. Work somewhere else.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's all mental gymnastics here. There is
Yeah, like
no-
we had a coworker go up to the manager and see like about raising wages, and the manager literally said, no. And then that was the end of the conversation. I'm not kidding. That's literally what happened. She went up to them and say like, hey, you know, like if we're, you know, gonna be doing this, we should probably get like a small raise or something. And she's like, no. It was just a straight no.
That's insane.
Like just a straight no. So yeah, no, we don't have, like, we have codified into law, Pure Corn, we have codified into law certain labor protections and certain rights, but even those are limited, and a lot of the times, they're not enforced. So it's almost as if like they don't exist. I mean, like there are certain labor protections and there are certain like, you know, regulations and labor things that you can't break, but companies still do. And rarely do they see any kind of repercussions for it. Just until recently, there have been some, but for the most part, they go under the radar. The NLRB has very little teeth to go after any type of people who break regulations or break labor laws. And quite often, it's simpler to just fire the employee because the sky is gray, as Dakapoyon just said. In a lot of places, they can. They'll just say, oh, well, you know, the employee so-and-so, they just violated company procedure, and then that's the end of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. That happened. I know of a story where here in Florida, a person tried to organize a union, and what happened? Well, they were let go. They were let go because, and I kid you not, they timed the bathroom breaks, and this person dared to take a tiny bit more on the bathroom breaks, and they're like, oh yeah, no, violated procedure. That's it, goodbye. Because they got word that they were starting to talk about unionization in a Publix, and they were let go because of company policy procedure, whatever, you know. It wasn't because they were trying to organize. See, that's how they get away with it. It wasn't because they were organizing. It wasn't because they were talking to their fellow employees about potentially unionizing. Like, not even like, they didn't even have a vote or anything. They were just talking about it, about the potential of saying like, hey, you know, we should organize and get, maybe the employees themselves didn't even,
wow.
It wasn't even guaranteed that it was going to be on board anyways. They were just talking about it, talking to their coworkers and stuff like that, and they were let go because they violated company policy about something to do with like the timestamps, you know, the clocking in and clocking out. That's how they were let go.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. Yep. I appreciate you being here. Keep speaking truth to power and genetically and generally hard of thinking. 50% of the board of private genetically hard of thinking. Oh, I don't know if that's a thing. Board of companies consist of union members. Maybe a union staff in itself is not sufficient to maintain power. That's interesting. 50% of board of private companies in EU consist of union members. Now that's interesting. You see, I remember a certain senator, Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont, floating the idea of that being a thing, and people got super mad. People immediately criticized him for that. Like, what? You want workers on union boards and stuff? Like, yeah, it'd be nice if workers had an ability to at least voice or have a voice in their place of work. Yeah, yeah, this is a no-brainer. But you know, these radicals trying to destroy the country. These radicals and their thoughts of democracy and worker representation.
You sound insane.
You're right. Oh man, that was a very, very, very firing conversation, because that really does giga trigger me when I go back and, like, you know, think about these stories. there's a country that can afford all things. Yeah, exactly, Pure Corn. If there is a country that can afford all these things, it is us. It is the United States. If there's a country that can definitely afford having a robust social safety net, a robust program to deal with like homelessness, food, housing, education, healthcare. If there's a country that can possibly reorganize our priorities and get all that done, it would have been us, but we're too busy spending $760 something billion on the military, so we can't. Sorry. Alright folks, unfortunately that is all the time I have today. Thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate you coming in for this snow day. Snow day, right?
Oh yeah, I'm just here watching the birds.
That's right. If you work at At Will, they don't need reason that this. Yeah, and even if Pirate Ninja, a lot of the times your reason for firing. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for following and joining us. A lot of the times, while even regardless of the state, a lot of the times people get fired because they make up some like BS company policy violation, and that's how you get fired or let go. So a lot of the times even that doesn't matter, which I like I was trying to say, like even the labor protections that we have quite often just go either ignored, or the National Labor Relation Board just doesn't have the teeth to enforce it or go after these companies a lot of the times. Yeah, that's the situation we're in. Alright folks, again, if you guys enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. You get 5 free emotes. Look at that. 5 free emotes. Enjoy enjoy the free emotes. Hit the subscribe button. Yes, get your emotes. DOL and Department of Labor in Colorado won't touch. Yep, that's right. Go to our YouTube channel. Hit that follow or subscribe button, I should say. On the YouTube channel, it's that big red button. Just takes 5 seconds. Yeah, exactly. And if you want to keep up with the channel, hit that Discord link right there to keep up with anything that happens in the channel. I think that's it. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. We love you all, and we hope to see you guys in the next one.
See ya.
Alright, folks, hang tight. Let's see. You have a good day, Pirate Ninja. Appreciate that. Oh, you're gonna build a snowman? Aw, that's cute. Oh, damn it, I missed Mono's cute animal video. Well, we had a Bailey on stream. Don't worry, we'll play another one tomorrow. Yeah. Let's see. That's right. Is the majority report on? No. What? I could have sworn they were. I guess not. Alright, then we'll go to Idan Simpson. Hang tight, folks. Hang tight. Be nice. Show some support. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 7. God dang it. See ya.